Let's start over. The madman's done it. Donald Trump has announced the framework of a deal over Greenland. Now, it's not going to be total ownership, but it's got everybody pretty happy. Denmark seems to be happy. NATO seems to be happy. Trump seems to be a little let down because he really wanted to own Greenland, and he's not gonna. But it's described as an indefinite deal with mineral rights, strategic access, and it's meant to keep Russia and China out of Greenland. And the deal itself will be about protecting Greenland and the Arctic. It seems like this was a classic Donald Trump big ask. He comes out and says, we're going to take Greenland. And everyone freaks out and he goes, okay, maybe just a little bit. And they say, okay, fine. How about a little bit? And now we're moving forward. Unfortunately, that means no Trump hotel, just blistering in the skyline of Greenland. But it's okay. We'll take what we can get. And then we got a bunch of other news. We've got Bovino. He's a ICE guy, DHS. Is he DHS or ICE?
Border Patrol.
Border Patrol. I was way off. Well, DHS. And he got attacked at a speedway, and they wouldn't serve him. They wouldn't let him and his guys come in to get snacks. Now there's call for a major boycott. And then, of course, we've got news coming out of Virginia where they're basically gearing up to go to war with the federal government, I guess. Weird stuff going on. Let's just leave it at that, and we'll get into it. It's going to be a little bit freaky. But before we do, got a great sponsor for you. It is Beam Dream. My friends, head over to shopbeam.com/Timcast and pick up your nighttime sleep aid to help you sleep better. Beam Dream's amazing. It's got L-theanine, it's got reishi, it's got melatonin, magnesium. I drink it every single night. Not a joke. Even I got Phil drinking it now.
It's great.
It's great. We got the little packet ones because we're out of the studio. But I drink it every night before bed. A delicious cup of hot cocoa. Cinnamon cocoa, it's my favorite. I don't know, I bounce between that and the brownie batter. And only 15 calories, no added sugar. Drink it, make a hot cup of cocoa right for the show every night. And I sleep beautifully. And y'all know I got a new baby who's always crying. And somehow I make it through because I've got a great wife. And, you know, but Beam Dream helps. And I do recommend it. So check out shopbeam.com/TimPool is the link you can use, and you get to 35% off. You can click the link in the description below. Shout out to Beam Dream for sponsoring the show. I want to give a shout out to the magnesium, really. I mean, I think that's what's really, really helping me, plus hydration, so I'm a big fan. Also, make sure you go to castbrew.com and pick up some delicious Cast Brew coffee. We've got the Rum Runners Roast, a buttery blend, bold and buttery, inspired by the Appalachian Moonshiners. Rum Runners Roast brings smooth caramel, warm vanilla, and a hint of spiced rum aroma. Check this one out, of course. You can always pick up your Ian's Graphene Dream low acidity coffee. Some people, they get a stomach ache when they drink their coffee. So Ian said, we gotta have coffee. It's low acidity. And we were like, Ian, you're right. And so we made it, and it sells amazing. So check it out at castbrew.com. Don't forget to smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. And joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Auron MacIntyre.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Auron MacIntyre. I host a show on Blaze TV. I also write columns and books. You can find me on YouTube, Rumble, podcasts, everywhere you'd normally look.
I'm at Ian Crossland. My name is Ian Crossland. That's why. And you can. I'm like an actor, a musician, hilarious dude. I make light of a lot of situations. Maybe sometimes when they're heavy. Follow me and check out graphene.movie if you haven't yet. But before we do that, I want to throw it over to Tate Brown.
What is going on, Patriots? Tate Brown here, holding it down. We didn't get to it yesterday, but we were supposed to cover how all of these stories impact Ian directly. So maybe we can avenge that and get that going today.
Okay, thanks.
Phil?
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
Here's the big breaking story from the Washington Post. Trump hails framework of Greenland deal reversing tariff threats. Following this, the stock market jumped up, surging the Dow surging 550 points, the S&P 500, NASDAQ jumping as Trump backs off the tariff threats. NATO seems to be pretty dang happy. NATO said in a statement, negotiations between Denmark, Greenland, and the United States will go forward, aimed at ensuring that Russia and China never gain a foothold economically or militarily in Greenland. Rutt told Fox News special report with Brett Baer Wednesday that Danish sovereignty of the territory wasn't talked about in the meetings with Trump. We basically discussed how we can implement the president's vision on protecting, yes, Greenland, but of course this, not only Greenland, this whole Arctic. Now, here's the framework of the deal. The breaking details, we believe these to be the details. The U.S. will gain control over small pockets of land in Greenland. The U.S. will be involved in Greenland's mineral rights. Greenland is estimated to hold reserves worth as much as $5 trillion. The U.S. Golden Dome system will be involved in Greenland when it's built. The deal is designed to block Russian and Chinese influence in Greenland. This will open the door to U.S.-backed infrastructure investment. The duration of the deal will have an indefinite time frame. This means Trump will have secured land, minerals, and defense in one deal, effectively getting everything they wanted, and that Greenland and Denmark can say we won as well, maintaining their sovereignty, but the U.S. is going to basically do what they did before. So this looks like a classic Donald Trump big ask, where he threatens to punch you in the face, but then you agree to just hug.
I have to say, Donald, this is directly to you. You got me. I bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Last night,
cried.
I'd given up.
He was crying.
It was the end for me. I was like, you've gone too far. I cannot support you anymore. And then you turned and did this. So nice job.
Over Greenland?
Yeah. I was like, he's going to get us in. He's threatening Europe. And if Europe turns on us, which they were talking about doing, sending troops to Greenland plus, then the Russians and the Chinese would also, the vultures would start to circle. So thank you, Donald, for being such a harsh, strong businessman in these desperate times and turning this deal.
You're not a plan truster, and you are clearly a panicking.
It's amazing that no matter how many times Trump uses this exact strategy, the same strategy he literally wrote a book about, that people just continuously do this. He anchors the position, he makes the big ask, he goes out there and makes sure that you are looking well beyond what he's actually looking for, and then he dials it back, he lets everybody be a winner, everybody can relax. He's done this over and over again, and that's why we always say you got to watch not just what Trump says, but what he's doing, what he's actually planning, where he's actually setting himself. If you run out there and take every single thing he says seriously, then you're just falling for the exact strategy he's already laid out. You're being played just like the media. Doesn't mean you have to believe everything Trump says, doesn't mean he gets a free pass on everything, but people really do have to calm down with the whole rhetorical stuff. We've seen this so many times over and over again, and people just end up embarrassing themselves when they take every bit of it seriously.
That's my favorite part, when they embarrass themselves.
Right. Well, it works for Trump too, right?
You know?
And to be fair, with this go around, with the tariffs being threatened, with Trump like not refusing to admit that he could potentially go to war over this, a lot of plan trusters, a lot of our top guys were getting a little antsy. They were saying, I like the deal, I like the strategy, but do we really need to apply this much pressure to Europe? These sorts of things. It's antagonizing even right-wing parties in Europe. So shout out to the poster Homan's top guy. He was a plan truster the entire time. And anytime some of our guys were starting to be like, I don't know, Donald, can we take the heat off a little bit? He'd be in the replies and just let him have it. So this, I think, to be honest, this was like the ultimate plan trusting test. Because like I said, a lot of the top plan trusters were even getting a little bit cold feet over this.
This is, I don't know. I want to just be gracious, for this deal looking like it's going through, but it makes me nervous about who's coming next, who's the next, because this guy is holding it together with willpower. Donald Trump is people are terrified of him and they love him and they're scared of him and they're geopolitically he's a mastermind. I mean, I know people are studying him. Vance is studying him, but it's you can't just become Donald Trump. I don't know.
Look, if Democrats do, win and take control of the House, the Senate, and the executive office, that's going to be the undoing of basically everything good that Donald Trump's done. They'll undo things that are good, just the same way that Joe Biden opened the borders totally because of Donald Trump doing what he did about the illegal immigration and stuff. They're going to undo even good things just to spite Donald Trump. So that's another reason why it's incredibly important that people go and vote in the midterms and go and vote for whoever isn't the Democrat. As much as people are out there that are like, oh, I'm sick and tired of voting for the lesser of two evils. I don't care what you're tired of.
Well, I mean, I'm black-pilled. After this redistricting thing, I don't think voting matters at all. I mean, it barely did to begin with, but we did believe. Now, Democrats and Republicans have basically been like, let's utilize the power we have to wipe out our opposition in our states, except Indiana that went, oh, slow down there, Trump.
Well, that's my larger concern, Tim. You see him consolidating places like Venezuela. You see him consolidating places like Greenland. We understand that we need a sphere of influence, but ultimately this is the empire, right? This is strengthening the empire. Now, if the empire is being run by patriots, if it's being run for the advantages of the American people, that's fantastic. But the problem is if the Democrats get back to power and they have all the power that Trump has secured for the United States, but he hasn't secured it domestically, then you end up a scenario where the left now has a stronger global American empire but they're running it for their own interests. They're running it for the globalists. They don't care about Americans. They're making sure to purge Americans, replace Americans. And so that's why I would prefer that while I love what the Trump administration is doing in certain areas when it comes to securing our interests, if you don't secure the homeland, if you don't secure the voting, if you don't do that, then it doesn't matter because you're just turning all that stuff over to the Democrats. And if they don't get rid of it, like Phil said, they'll just use it to hurt us.
Yeah, well, I made the point on the show last night. I think I was using your talking point, which is objectively true, is that it's no longer, these elections are no longer about, swinging over independent voters and these sorts of things to a degree that's still important, but it really is just a census at the end of the day. And when you look at, again, like these redistricting plays, when you look at, again, the immigration that took place under Biden, like fundamentally what these elections are just coming down to is what is the actual makeup of that district, and then it just takes a snapshot of it. That's all that's really occurring these days.
It seems like that should be illegal at the federal level for a state to do that, because that gives that state untoward influence over national elections. So then the Supreme Court has to say, like, hey, you can't just all of a sudden say our state is all Democratic voters because we redistricted everything. That's crazy.
But the Constitution's very clear that that is the power that the states retain. And so that's the problem, is it was designed that way. You were supposed to be able to throw a spanner in the works, but when you, like you say, when that no longer becomes an issue of good faith, when people are actively and maliciously using the legal system to skew those politics, all of a sudden that federalism is a problem. Same thing when it comes down to states' rights, when you're removing immigration, right? Like ultimately, yes, you should have federalism. They should have control over their law enforcement. But when they're actively choosing to allow violence in their state, when they're targeting Republicans, targeting conservatives, targeting churches, and they're just allowing violence to happen, can you really allow them to continue to operate? And this is the problem. No law will actually bind bad actors.
No.
Laws are only for people who are living and working together in a society together. The minute you have people maliciously working to undermine that trust, you can write all the laws you want, and they're never going to matter. It's never rule of law. It's always rule of people.
Yeah.
Do you think that the redistricting is just a lost cause? Have you given up on the voting stature of the states?
I am not a fan of democracy. So to the extent that I think we have to continue to fight that, because it is the way that we legitimize our rulers today. We have to fight for every inch and every advantage inside that system. But I think democracy is largely dead. I don't think we're going to get an actual mandate from the people anymore. I think it's all about pushing and pulling numbers, manipulating zones, controlling machine voting. But the idea that we're going to have some Mr. Smith goes to Washington nationwide debate on issues anymore is a joke. I mean, look at Congress. It can't even pass a bill.
You're a smart guy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I completely agree. We've been heading in this direction, and I feel like it's it was an obvious inevitability. We've talked about this a year ago, the geographic hyperpolarization, which was COVID, right? People in New York moved to Florida. We were in West Virginia 2 months ago. I mean, technically, we're still operating in West Virginia. We're here in Florida trying to work out our future plans because of the threats. The interesting thing is, despite the fact that we were in West Virginia, which is very based, you border Maryland and Virginia has gone totally psycho. I mean, what Spanberger's done, the socialists, the left, the commies are throwing their hats in the air, screaming and cheering. It's not even an exaggeration. She's erased 4 years, as Tate said, of Youngkin in 48 hours. We're up there in West Virginia, but bordering this, it's contentious. I have weird beefs over like a skate park thing that was not real, and then I go like a DC, and then there's some people who are like posting things saying Tim Pool's a racist at a skate park or whatever. Come to Florida and everybody's cheering for us. Yeah. Because of the geographic hyperpolarization. This was, what did I say was going to happen with New York and these other jurisdictions? When people leave New York, it's going to weaken the conservative voter base, meaning the politicians, the Democrats, no longer have to try to earn at least some of the conservative vote and be a little moderate. That means when the primary comes around, the psycho commie is going to run against the moderate, and the psycho commie is like, I don't got to pander to anybody. The conservatives are gone. This vote is only going to come down to the far left and the centrist Democrat, the liberal Democrat. And so they're starting to win. And then where we're at now with the redistricting war was obvious. With people in California, conservative leaning, moving to Texas and Washington to Arizona and New York to Florida, the ability to push back is gone. And the Democrats in the state say, we can now shut their voices out completely. The fascinating thing going on, a couple stories we got to go through. New York is eliminating their 11th district seat. They're calling it unconstitutional. It's going to redraw it, eliminating a Republican. Maryland did the same thing. Mike Cernovich had a great tweet. He said Maryland cut a deal with Republicans saying, you don't redistrict in your area, we won't redistrict here. And then when I think it was Indiana, when Indiana's like, okay, fine, we won't do it, Maryland goes, psych, we're doing it, let's go. And now they're eliminating the last Republican seat. You can actually just, to me, it's 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, what happens when the midterm election is no longer having any toss-ups at all? It's literally just 220 Democrats and then the rest Republicans had solid blue, solid red. There's no elections anymore. It's literally just a Democrat state will always be Democrat. It's happening at the federal level, the national level, what happened to our cities. The Democrats have controlled Chicago for over 100 years, and there's zero chance a Republican will ever get elected there. And now it's happening at the state level, and it's coming to Congress. And then what do you think the next course of action will be in this country? Because when there's nowhere left to go, the pressure builds up and the kettle explodes.
I think the great sort has to happen. I think it was inevitable. The idea that we could live...
The great sort?
The great sort.
Yeah.
And the sorting of the different beliefs. We used to believe you could just live anywhere in the United States and we shared enough values, enough social fabric, you'd be fine. And so people moved to all these places for education and business and these kind of things. But what they found is they were living next to a bunch of people who didn't share their religion, didn't share their beliefs, didn't share their values, and we were constantly in a state of war. Now everybody's going back to the places where they can be around people that they actually agree with, actually believe in, can have real communities. And I think that's actually a positive. One of the upsides of remote work is you can actually live around people and not have to worry about your job being right down the street. You can just live around people you actually care about. So we're seeing more intentional communities. We're seeing people moving together, moving to places where they actually agree. Florida, remember, was a purple state trending blue for most of my life because when people came from New York and New Jersey, they came down here to retire and they used their pension. Now the people coming here, they're fleeing COVID. They want to be with Ron DeSantis. They're Republicans.
What was the DeSantis win margin?
I don't remember, but it was quite large the second time.
That dude who was caught, what was he like doing meth or something?
Yeah, got caught doing meth with a gay prostitute. Yeah.
And he was like, didn't he have like foam at the mouth? Or it's like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
He almost won. And then DeSantis narrowly wins. And immediately, I want to say thank you to DeSantis for fixing this state and making it what it is. Not just him, the state legislature did a great job as well. It's a shame about his presidential run. Not very good, but Florida's fantastic.
So in 2018, DeSantis' win margin was 0.4% over Andrew Gillum. But in 2022, it was a nearly 20% win over Charlie
Because everybody
Crist.
came here.
Well, and
AOC came here to vacation because she didn't like her own state's COVID lockdown stuff.
Well, and really importantly, DeSantis cleaned up the voter rolls.
Yeah.
This is something that people did not do. This is something guys like Glenn Youngkin didn't do. When DeSantis got into power, he made sure to use that power to secure power in Florida for the Republicans moving forward. You have to take control of those votes.
Let's jump to this next story from the New Republic, our communist friends. It's civil war, baby. The way that they describe it, Abigail Spanberger's first move as Virginia governor was a masterstroke. Even moderate Democrats can be boldly anti-MAGA. Other centrist Democrats should follow her example.
That's ridiculous.
Well, what did she do? They say even before taking office last Saturday, the new Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, a Democrat, demanded and received the resignations of several of her Republican predecessor Glenn Youngkin's appointees to the board that oversees the University of Virginia. In a similar vein, the state's new Attorney General, Democrat Jay Jones, forced out legal counsels at George Mason University and the Virginia Military Institute who were appointed by his Republican predecessor. Job changes at state colleges aren't usually national news, but what Spanberger and Virginia Democrats are doing matters well beyond Old Dominion. Republicans like Trump and Youngkin keep appointing right-wing partisans to traditionally apolitical roles like university board member and FBI director. These appointments are designed to turn key nonpartisan institutions into apparatuses for the Republican Party. Apparati. Well, here's the bill that I want to show you. This is from las.virginia.gov. Bill details introduced January 14th, 2026. Hey, this is really fun. What does this bill say? Quote, all orders from the federal government or any of its officers, agencies, or departments to the state militia of Virginia, including the National Guard and the unorganized militia, that relate to the call, induction, or drafting of Virginia state troops of any type or description into the federal service for active duty or otherwise, and withdrawing them from the control of the governor of Virginia, shall be first transmitted to and through the governor of Virginia. The governor, as commander-in-chief of the state militia, shall not approve, consent to, or concur in any such order that has not been transmitted as herein required. Additionally, no armed militia from another state, territory, or district shall enter the Commonwealth for the purpose of active military duty without the permission of the governor of Virginia, unless such militia has been called into the federal services for active duty and is acting under the authority of the President of the United States pursuant to Title 10 of U.S. Code. Governor to be notified of receipt of order, no action taken until his instructions complied with, certain communications prohibited. In other words, this may be a lot of bluster, Senate Bill number 337, but I think it's pretty clear what this does. This is basically setting the framework for Trump, the federal government, and the president cannot federalize National Guard. He's done it in other states. He's been challenged in the judiciary. The courts have said yes, the courts have said no. It's currently ongoing. They're attempting to preempt this by passing a state law saying only the governor can approve of it after the president makes the request, and she can say no. So what happens when Donald Trump says we're going to enforce the law in Virginia, and then Virginia refuses or pulls one of these weird anti-ICE bills, which violate the Constitution? Then Donald Trump says, Insurrection Act, and we're going to federalize National Guard to enforce domestic law. And then she says that's illegal in the state of Virginia, pursuant to Senate Bill or to, I think this is, what is this? I don't know what the bill title is, 44114.1. Code of Virginia, or amending this. And then what happens after that?
He'll have to call up the National Guard of another state.
And this also says they can't be sent in.
Well, that turns into, an actual confrontation.
Never quote laws to men with, well, guns, I guess, in this case. But yeah, it's amazing that the blue states have suddenly discovered that they love John C. Calhoun. All of a sudden, they're making, nullification arguments. It's absolutely insane. But this just shows you the Democrats don't have principles. They don't care. They care about victory. And this is why I'm so tired of hearing, establishment conservatives talk about their principles and their abstract understandings, and then complaining when stuff like this happens. You guys set yourselves up for this. You're weak, you're cowardly, you're stupid, you're childish. Politics has become existential. You have to treat it as such. And if you don't take power, if you don't use it, this kind of stuff's going to happen. The Democrats are not going to hesitate to shore up power and push back against you at every turn.
Yeah, we literally had it was like a few weeks ago, the whole blue slip debate was going on because, again, Trump's trying to get a judge approved in New Jersey. And Chuck Grassley comes out and he's like, no, we're not touching the blue slip system, which basically just allows a senator from a state to object to a judge appointment, which back in the day made sense because, again, that senator would have information on this judge because they're local. Now it's literally just a partisan thing where it's just, again, senators hijacking judge appointments. All this to be said, Chuck Grassley comes out and he's like, no, because during the Biden administration, we utilized the blue slip system and it's a part of our American principles, and it would be a total violation of our principles to object to this system. Just utterly ridiculous. People are not serious. They do not know what time it is, and it's unbelievably frustrating. And all this happens is, kind of back to the great sort, is this is just Virginia ultimately, among other things, attempting to shake out Republicans and ensure victory. This is to the point we were talking about with Florida, where Florida, DeSantis wins decisively. At the same time, in 2021, in the state of New York, Lee Zeldin loses by about 300,000 votes to Kathy Hochul. Where is that margin to victory? Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Jacksonville. That's where they are. So it's just utterly ridiculous that Republican cowardice is really leading, again, to this great sort in many ways. It's leading to a shakedown of the entire country at large.
The idea of the great sort, it sounds great until the Democrats get control of the federal government and they just install all the laws that they did in Virginia but do them federally.
Oh, it's gonna be bonkers what Democrats do when they get in. They are going to get in, and this modicum of resistance Republicans have feigned, they are going to use as justification for just bulldozing the whole country. Yeah. They're going to say, well, Donald Trump once, shuffled my garbage can outside my house. That's an affront to justice, so we're going to put you all in prison. We're going to ban guns. We're going to open the borders, and it's just, that's the excuse they're going to use.
Democrats have made it clear that a peaceful exchange of power is no longer an option. I mean, they have blatantly said, we're putting Pete Hegseth in jail. We're putting Donald Trump in jail.
Yeah.
We're putting everybody who's worked for the administration in jail. We're probably putting a bunch of Trump supporters in jail. You can no longer hand Democrats power.
We're putting Ian in jail, too. That's what worries me the most.
Ian's going to prison. Everyone else is going to go to jail. Ian's going to jail.
Yeah, we get 6 months. He gets a
I'll
year
go
in
to jail and help them install webcams for the prisoners. I'll go.
What kind of business are you planning to run, Ben?
It's just a venture capitalist.
Let's go.
Making people rich when they get out.
No, I've made this point before on the show, and people don't believe me. It's literally if you have a Twitter account and you're expressing support for these ICE operations, go to archive.org. Even if your Twitter's tiny, put in your handle, put in your URL or whatever, someone is logging your Twitter. People are logging your
Absolutely.
Twitter. So
Yeah.
again,
Yep.
even if it's not like maybe necessarily you going to jail, you're going to face social repercussions if, heaven forbid, you ever get doxxed or something like that. From the top, from these politicians, from these governors, from these senators, all the way down to the activist space, they are watching us and they are salivating at the opportunity to come after us.
I'd love to do a bit like this where it's like, 3 years in the future and we're on IRL and we're like, the Democrats have taken every branch of government. The court has been packed, and they're now announcing arrest warrants for prominent conservative personalities, independents, and moderates. And I fear we're next. And the door busts open. A bunch of dudes with guns come in, grab Ian, and drag him out. And we're like, wait, what? And then one of them walks back in and goes, "You guys are good. Just
You're
him."
fine.
You're fine.
I'm a patsy.
And then it turns out Ian was actually the real brains behind the show the whole time.
I have been the
He
mastermind.
writes my script, the prompter right in front of me. I'm just reading what Ian wrote. Right
Ian's
now.
actually running mostly peaceful memes and a bunch of other.
Dude, if you could see the things I
He writes
think,
Trump speeches.
like about radical change on the globe, like the way I think is so far in the future. So that's why I
so
act like
true.
an idiot a lot, because it makes me like not a target.
It's so far in the future, it sounds like schizophrenia.
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
He's
but,
ghostwriting the history books.
like if you read the white papers of like crypto, like if you read deep tech papers, you just like, holy fuck. But what it makes me think is,
Watch your
look,
F-bombs.
politics
Yeah,
is
watch the swearing, you know?
Politics is about as crumpled as a wet piece of toilet paper right now.
Like mushed into a paste.
Yeah, just crusty. And this is why the culture war is
crusty.
so important, especially with this redistricting. If it really doesn't matter who's voting, it's just there's going to be blocks of people. You want sane Democrats. You want sane Republicans. So the culture war becomes super important to like get people on a kind of a cultural cohesive level.
But Ian, Auron was making this point on a show today. What do you do when you have a Democrat that basically runs as a moderate, right, and then gets into office and is as far left as you can go? Because that's exactly what Abigail Spangenberger, right?
Spanberger. I always call her Spanberger.
That's exactly what she did. She ran as a moderate. She was alleged to be a center-left Democrat, right? Very normal Democrat, blah, blah, blah. Gets into the office and then starts ramming through all of the most far-left stuff that any progressive would ever want. If you can't ascertain what your politicians are going to do by what they say, then I mean, essentially, your vote is worthless.
Never forget that FDR ran on a small government platform.
Oh, God, did he really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Roosevelt ran on reducing the size of government, getting government out of things, and then immediately turned around and basically said, "I'm taking total power and completely running a revolution through this country." This is as old as it gets, man. Like, you can't trust politicians. Of course they're going to lie. The only people who are dumb enough to believe them are Republicans. The Democrats know you run as a moderate, and then you become Mao as soon as you get into office. That's how they operate.
I want to talk about the story since we have you here on MacIntyre. This is an interesting chain of events that occurred on X. It started with this video
Cart me with a gun.
of what
Rittenhouse.
looks like it looks like Jeremy Hambley, to be completely honest. There's a guy in Minnesota with a gun. Is that just like an AR-15?
It's an AR with a can on it with a silencer.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah, right. You're right. Suppressor.
Suppressor, yeah.
Suppressor. And he basically says he's out here to protect his neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. Well, Gunther Eagleman says lock him up. Now, hold on there, gosh darn a minute. We're 2A people here. We love guns. People like to keep and bear arms, and they can walk around doing whatever they want with their guns. I certainly think so. In response to this, you got a community note saying, "This is the Second Amendment, which gives people the right to keep and bear arms. Gunther Eagleman has previously said we must never give up our Second Amendment." In response to this, Hannah Cox says, "There it goes. MAGA zombies have flipped on every other conservative position, and now they don't even like the Second Amendment." Now, my response to this is, this right here on the surface, totally fine. I don't care. It's a dude, to be honest, seems a little out of shape, but he's got a weapon and he's got good trigger discipline. I accept it, and he's allowed to do it. And by all means, please. The question is, what is the intent behind it? Is he fighting oppression and tyranny, or is he supporting oppression and tyranny? And the issue is, this is a lawful government, duly elected, enforcing its laws, which have been in the books for decades. In which case, this is not, as our moral worldview, who believe in the Second Amendment, a justifiable instance of bearing arms to support lawful governance and the right of the people. In fact, it is rogue operators trying to supplant the will of the people, as we have duly operated in our previous election. The Republicans didn't go out and shoot anybody. They didn't riot and burn everything down. By all means, go ahead and scream J6. I'm not for that either. The point is, this guy is not here to represent lawful governance. He is here to say, I don't care for your lawful governance, which sends me to this before we get into everything. The point here and the question of whether or not this is actually about the Second Amendment, I bring you a passage from Ulysses S. Grant following the Civil War, for which I'm interested in Auron's opinion. He said in his memoirs, if the war had been a war of rebellion against tyranny, I should have been on the side of the rebellion. I should have been on the side of rebellion, but it was not. There was a right of revolution, but there is no right of rebellion against a lawful government. The right of revolution is a natural one and is not to be questioned, but rebellion against constituted authority is treason and must be treated as such. The Constitution gave the right to change the form of government in a lawful way, and no government is safe unless the right is reserved to the people. But rebellion against an existing government is an offense and must be punished. The southern states had no more right to secede from the Union than a county has to secede from a state. Now, while I don't completely agree, I do believe, it's fair to say, the South decided to engage in our functioning constitutional process. When they lost that electoral process, they then said, we're out. Now, hold on. We all agreed, blood and treasure were sacrificed, you were admitted, and then you didn't like the outcome, so you said, I'm taking my ball and going home. That's different from the American Revolution, where we said, please let us be involved in governance, and the Crown said no, and decided for us, despite the fact we were largely autonomous. These are completely distinct. And what these people who are saying, I guess MAGA doesn't like Second Amendment anymore, don't understand, is that there are distinct moral worldviews and nuances to when and how we determine you have a right to fight back against a tyrannical government. But, Auron, I'm curious, based on everything I just said, what your thoughts are.
I mean, with the situation in the South, what you're looking about, like you said, our founding fathers pointed out that the reason they needed to leave is that they wanted the rights of the Englishmen. Like, that was their problem. They wanted the rights that they felt they were entitled to as Englishmen, and that was not being upheld by the Parliament. A lot of people say it was a war against the king, but actually they appealed to the king regularly, hoping that he would save them from Parliament. And when he wouldn't, only then did they say, okay, now we have to appeal to heaven because we have no other place to appeal. We have the right of a revolution. I think this is a bad understanding from Grant. I mean, obviously, they participated in the government. The South decided that they were not receiving the rights that they believe that they were due. And if the 10th Amendment means anything, if the states actually have rights reserved to them, then the right to leave has to be part of it. If you don't have a right to leave, you don't have a right to anything. Now, ultimately, I don't think any government can actually enshrine the right of revolution. I think that's not how constitutions actually work. But spiritually, morally, I think you do have a fair argument for being able to leave at that time. Of course, people tie the word of slavery, and that's why now they just make it that instead.
But on the issue of a leftist bearing arms in Minnesota for the purpose of it's intimidation against ICE.
Yeah,
right.
well,
Are they? Is open carry allowed in Minnesota? I doubt it.
It is.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
So he was lawfully
Well,
wielding it?
presumably he is. But my point is simply, first and foremost, I'm totally fine with what that guy is doing. That being said, there's a question about if his purpose is to intimidate and threaten duly appointed law enforcement that we voted on. Is this a question of rebellion, or is it a question of treason and sedition sedition?
I'm fine with states' rights as long as we all get them. The funny thing is, I know the Democrats, this is all going to disappear tomorrow, right? They don't actually believe any of this. If they want to be consistent on this, I'm fine, but I know they're not going to be.
You know, as far as this particular dude is, you can very easily make an argument that he's aiding and abetting criminal activity, right? The point is he's out there intending to intimidate law enforcement when they're trying to wrap up illegal aliens and people that are breaking the law, because not all these people that are quote unquote protesting are peacefully protesting. They're actually out there, you know, they're inhibiting law enforcement, they're engaging in violent activities, they're intimidating other people. So I mean, you can make a completely reasonable argument saying, look, he's out there specifically to aid and abet criminal activity, not to exercise the Second Amendment.
I don't think it's a reasonable. That wouldn't be. I don't think that would stand to reason that he was aiding and abetting. Because unless he flagged a cop,
he's out. The specific reason that he's out there is to make ICE aware that he's got a gun.
Yeah. That's
So
your right
that's
as a citizen.
the intent is to intimidate law enforcement that's acting legally.
If you're intimidated by me having a gun, that's your problem. It's not. I'm not doing it.
I'm not law enforcement. Like I said, this is about law enforcement trying to do their job.
Look, I'm going to put it like this, and I'm looking for your response. Are we going to play the game of drat? They've used our principles against us once again. I guess they win, and they get to take over. Or do we say, The laws are intended for a duly faithful people, faithful to God or the government, however you want to view it, who agree with each other and say, we work together, we understand what the rules are. If you're going to people who want to destroy you and saying, I will bestow upon you all the rights that I hold as well, knowing you won't return in kind and are actively trying to kill me, shut my government down, and change everything that I believe in, we lose. We lose overnight if that's the case. So my point is, again, this video on the surface, no problems. It's a guy standing around with a rifle. I really don't care, and I'm not going to complain about it. The bigger picture, individuals showing up with weapons intending to intimidate ICE because they have a moral worldview distinct from ours and the founding fathers and our Constitution, what this country is supposed to be, and they seek to destroy our way of life. If we say to them, do as you must, do as you please, we know for a fact tomorrow they're going to say, on your knees to the gulag. Do we let them do it?
There's an old saying, for my friends, everything, and for my enemies, the law. And so, there's one of the scenarios where, yes, there's a certain set of laws in place, but the way that they get enforced and actually carried out really determines everything. And so, yeah, we need to do things under the color of law. I think we should maintain the rule of law. But to the extent we can use law to our advantage, we should do that in every single sense. We should maximize that every opportunity. So does this one guy get to carry his gun out there? Maybe. But I want to see Don Lemon rotting in jail for 10 years. I want to see every guy who walked into that church spending 10 years in jail. I want the maximum penalty. I want the law, prosecuting every single person who breaks it. So yeah, we can allow this guy to hold his gun, but the minute he does anything, I want him in jail for the rest of his life, and I want to make sure he and his friends all go to jail if they're involved in criminal conspiracy to do things like inhibit rights. So I think we should use the law effectively in every situation.
Well, that's why they're calling him Kyle Reddit House, because he knows exactly what he's doing.
House.
Yeah, he's literally trying to again weaponize. This is what's so frustrating about the fact that conservatives, there's so many principles conservatives, because he's very aware of what he's doing here. This is a strategy again to bait conservatives into coming out and defending him. It really is just the most pernicious Reddit strategy.
But can we call him something like the Soitering or something like something like that? You know what I mean?
If he puts that brace on his shoulder, he's broken the law, right?
Yeah.
That's still technically the ATF. Yeah. So all we need to do is get this guy
no.
rifle.
That's not a short-barreled rifle though.
Oh no, but
it's
it
a
is
pistol.
because that's not a stock.
That is an AR pistol.
That's a pistol.
It's a pistol because he has the brace instead of the stock.
The length of it determines whether it's a pistol.
Sure.
Not the brace. If it is
the brace does.
The brace, because the brace is the way the law is written, the brace is what you put on a pistol. And
I understand.
Right.
I'm saying that if you took an actual long gun that doesn't qualify as an SBR and put a brace on the back of it, it's not a pistol.
But the brace is a working around of putting a stock on a pistol.
So I'm asking specifically, that's actually shorter?
My guess would be without the can, that's under 15 inches.
Yeah,
which means
that's like a 10.5, probably 11.5 with a 6-inch can. So
the intention of those is literally you're supposed to hold it like a pistol.
In theory, that's supposed to go on your arm.
The brace is because some people have disabilities,
right?
So they need a way to hold it, but you can brace it against your shoulder.
And the minute he puts it on his shoulder, he is breaking the law.
Technically, yes. Yeah, if you shoulder it.
I remember when, was it during Biden, they banned braces? The ATF decided that braces were illegal. Yep. And then I had to go through all of my guns, for which I have just so many, and then detach all of the braces and separate them. Otherwise, I was at risk of being a felon, despite the fact no law had been passed. Yep. So y'all want to play these games. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and say, you can do whatever you want because you have rights, and then you're going to point your gun at me and put me in a gulag.
Not only had there
Right.
been no law passed, the ATF had multiple times said that a brace does not make a pistol into a short barrel rifle. They had multiple decisions, or I don't know what they call it. It's not decisions, but they released multiple guidelines and letters to people saying, look, no, I personally waited about 7 or 8 years before I bought a brace because I was like, they're going to, and when they first came out, when the SIG brace came out, I was like, they're going to throw people in jail for that.
I got an idea. Have you got, what are those things? Tensegrity? Have you heard of these things? Have you never seen these things?
Well,
Let me see if I can pull this up. What is it?
Is that a South Park episode?
No. Come on. Let me see if I can find a tensegrity. Yeah, tensegrity. Yeah. I want to find a good one. Here we go. I got an idea.
Hi, I'm Xerxes from the Ontario Science Center.
Banging.
Hi, Xerxes.
Have you ever seen one of
We don't need to hear what you have to say.
Ever seen one
so
of these?
Look at this thing, right?
That's cool.
So it looks like it makes no sense. Like, how is it floating like that? Well, it's actually quite simple. This is hanging, so it's being suspended, and it can't topple over because this is being held down. Make a brace, like a tensegrity, and then you're like, well, there's actually no connecting parts holding it together, so therefore, I'm kidding. Don't do that. It's a joke.
No, but that
would be funny though.
Just
Okay,
like Auron was saying, like
Ian's like, maybe.
use the law in every single way you can. We should use the law, but every single time that anyone on the left breaks the law, even the slightest bit, you throw the book at them.
I don't think prosecutorial discretion is super important, and evil laws can be used too. It's not.
I mean, I feel like you're not even listening to the conversation is.
Use
like
every law at your discretion to prosecute your enemy.
Yeah, but I mean,
and
I'm talking
saying
about
no. Sometimes you use discretion with law and you don't prosecute.
not when you're in a
scenario.
literal fight for
it would be
existence.
great.
You're not.
You know,
You're
it'd be
sitting
really,
on the
you know,
podcast
you know,
right
it'd be
now,
really
bro.
great.
You are.
Ian. It would be really great if you read about Catalonia.
What about it?
Have you read a bit? Yeah, I mean, read about the efforts of the anarchist peoples and their they think the way you do. And do you know what happened to them?
What's the reference here? This is the Spanish
Yeah,
Catalonia Revolution or something.
Yeah, they're hippy dippy, do unto others people, and they were crushed every single time. And it still happens to this day where they get crushed by the government because people who play the game of slow down there, let's have a conversation, get crushed every time. Imagine having a city. And like someone comes to you and goes, Genghis Khan is coming to our city. What do we do? And you're like, hold on. We got to think about this clearly and not go overboard. And you go, okay, well, he's got advanced spies coming in and stealing our weapons. And you go, well, can we prove it? And they're like, the guy's running away right now. Well, we don't know what he's running for. We got to make sure we treat these people fairly and equally. And then you just, an hour later, he runs in and massacres you.
You know, the civilian mind is different than the military mind. I'm not in a military mindset right now. I'm in a civilian mindset.
Okay, and I have a question. A guy breaks into your house. He breaks into your house. And he's screaming, oh, I'm here to kill Ian Crossland. Are you going to be like, well, you know, he's allowed to have guns. I better not use the law against him.
No, I would use the law on my own.
Why in that
What are you talking about?
circumstance, but
I would
not in the
defend
macro?
myself.
Why in the micro, not in the
Well, if
macro?
this guy broke. What do you mean exactly? It's a weird question. What do you mean?
No, so my point is that when it affects you personally, you have no problem saying, I'll use the law
If
against
someone
you.
breaks into someone's house in a state where you can shoot them, then you have to defend your territory and your life.
You have to defend
You
them.
have a duty to.
Okay, what if
your community to
foreigners
defend your
who want
life?
to murder your whole people break into your country with weapons threatening to kill you? Do you have to defend them?
You have a duty as the military to defend the country. Yes,
Okay, so that's happening right now.
but we're talking about a dude standing outside it.
Who's he defending?
Practicing his.
Who's he defending?
What's the
him?
purpose of his gun?
Himself.
Who's
His
No,
Second
he's
Amendment.
not defending
You don't
himself.
You don't have to claim a defendant to issue your Second Amendment right.
This
no,
is the
but
point,
what
Ian.
is he doing? He's
standing on
defending
a
the
street-
immigrant community. That's what he's
I
doing.
mean, he's just standing. I don't know what he was doing. I saw a picture of him standing there with a rifle pointed at the
Why,
ground
Ian? Why is that guy outside?
to show ICE that there's an armed people waiting. If
And
they
what is
break
ICE doing?
Throwing people out of the country.
Arresting people who should not be here, criminals, rapists, illegal immigrants in general, and that guy's attempting to intimidate them.
Well-
so now let's try again. Someone breaks into your house and screams.
Me walking around with my rifle out is not intimidating.
You just said that was his intention.
I don't know. His intention was to show ICE that there's a militia. That's not an
Sure.
intimidation. ICE should know that there's a militia.
I think that's intimidation.
not a militia.
But let's
think
try
so.
this in. A guy breaks into your house screaming, "I'm here to kill Ian Crossland," and then another guy shows up and says, "Look, I'm not here to kill Ian. I just have a gun pointed at him." Should you use the law against him too?
You defend. If someone's pointing a gun at you, you have a right to defend yourself. They're essentially.
My point is when we've had conversations like this so often where when the issue comes to you personally, you have no problem being like, well, of course, that's why you would do it. And when the issue comes to the betterment of the country and the laws and our Constitution, you're just like, nah, let the bad guys do whatever they
As I'm
want.
sitting here listening to you guys, I just hear Democrats having this exact same conversation about people like you. Is what I hear. And so don't become the enemy you're trying to destroy. Don't become the demon.
Let them destroy you.
No.
Yeah.
Why would you ever let someone destroy
That's
you?
literally what you're talking
what
about.
you're
talking
You
about
literally
arresting a guy.
earlier. You just said that we weren't in an existential conflict.
I did not utter those words,
You
Phil.
said, Phil, you're sitting here in a podcast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Your life is not under threat
My
right now.
point
Well,
That's
was
what existential means.
Ian, is my life under threat right now?
I can't. Doesn't look like it.
You would be incorrect. Why am I in this building
All
right
of our
now?
lives are constantly under threat. It's the world. You know, doesn't Russia have nukes pointed at our country
Ian,
right
why
now?
are we in Florida?
Setting up. I know what you're setting up a new shop. You know, looking for.
Why are we trying to look for something
upgrading
new?
security because we're running an entertainment company. We need security.
You
we
wanted to be
need-
closer to
What
Auron.
happened that made us do that, Ian?
People, obsessive people, come and say, "Hey,
Ian,
we want
a
in."
thing happened. Say it.
The people shot a gun outside the studio.
People shot 3 rounds at our studio. They're trying to kill us.
But that
Me
doesn't
in
mean you go
particular.
around stripping people of their rights
Their right to what?
to carry a weapon outside.
That said, that was fine.
Well, then
I
that's
said,
what he's
if the
arguing with.
intention is to intimidate our duly appointed law enforcement, we say no. We don't tolerate people who are trying to destroy us.
Yeah, but we don't know that guy's
I,
intention. Bro.
I said if he breaks the law, throw the book at him, and then you're like, no, judges have deference, blah blah blah. I didn't say just throw him in jail for no reason. I said if he breaks the law, throw the book at him.
Right, and that
so-
that is the same argument they used on January 6th to put
So
people
now
away
you're
for 20
now
years.
you're just
dude.
you're just
Ian,
moving the
This is
Ian,
just the,
Ian.
oh, well, we have to give up because the
Ian,
other side is mean.
I would never say
Ian,
give
You
up.
are literally just
My
saying
response to your, but they think the same thing is, duh. The Hatfields and the McCoys, do you think one side was justified and the other wasn't? They're
none of
just
them died.
feuding. That's reality. Who's right in any grand conflict? Let's talk about like Korea versus Japan. Who is morally justified?
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly. There's a dispute between people. Sometimes it's aggressors. Sometimes it's ideological. Sometimes it's resource driven. But all that matters is right now in this country, there are 2 political moral philosophies. Both say the other is the bad guy. And you know what? We are correct. And they say the exact same thing. But I know that we're correct because we fact checked these things and they don't. Now, some of them may, but they lie all the time. They lie about everything. I'll give them some credit on the 1 screen 2 movies with Renee Good. But you take a look at J6, you take a look at Don Lemon and what's going on with Don Lemon. On January 6th, you had rioters. I have no problem telling the world the rioters should go to prison. You beat a cop, you go to jail, and they did. I think 3 years was fair. I think it's actually a little bit long. So a commutation and a pardon for their 20-year sentences does make sense. Do the liberals say anything like that? No. They say the innocent people who showed up after the riot, walking onto public land they had no idea was closed to the public and the doors were open, should go to prison because they're evil insurrectionists. They say that Owen Schroyer, who never went in the building, should go to prison. They say that Brandon Strzok, who never went in the building, should go to prison because they don't care, they don't fact check, and they want to destroy us.
Auron, you just said people that went into that church should all go to prison for 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, when one side decides. So, are you familiar with game theory?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
Tell me more about
So
it.
prisoner's dilemma, right? You have to have 2 people cooperating, or as soon as someone defects, you have to defect in order to keep the equilibrium. The only way you ever keep equilibrium inside a system is to have to make sure that you have a reciprocal strategy. If you have one side say, okay, we're sending people to prison for 30 years who weren't even in J6, who weren't even in the area, and then when they do something similar and you don't push back, you don't give them a reciprocal pushback, they will just continue that strategy of defecting infinitely because there's no incentive for them to stop. What you're suggesting is they get to defect infinitely and we always have to cooperate. How does that game end?
Well, I don't think that either is justified. I
Sure,
don't
I'm
but how
not
does the game
justified.
end?
I'm
How does the
talking
game
about
end?
strategy.
The game ends with de-escalation.
No.
No,
no,
Okay,
no,
that's
then I
not
guess
what,
the
that's
way I
not what
said
game.
it isn't the right answer.
Ian,
How
it's
does the
just-
game end? Auron?
Let's
You
try.
tell me.
Let's try again. Here's the question: if they are putting J6ers in prison for 20 years, even people who didn't go in the building, and we don't put them in prison when they violate the Klan Act or the FACE Act, what is the next what's the logical conclusion to that kind of system?
There would be multiple possible conclusions to that. One is the other side says, okay, then we're done. We're not going to do this anymore. Another side
You're
would be
being
they're
intentionally
like, they're
obtuse.
weak. Now let's stomp them into paste. It could
Agreed. And that's what they've been doing for the past 10 years. Why would they stop now? Honest question. Why would they stop now? They haven't stopped. They've escalated.
I mean, who? Firstly, a silly quote. Who's they? Who? A genuine question. Genuine question.
Left moral worldview. Disparate factions aligned with a multicultural democratic society, whereas we are the constitutional Republican faction.
Most people don't want civil war. They don't want.
What does that have to do with what we're talking
They
about?
don't. You said why would they stop now? They don't want they don't
The
want it.
people who are roving around in Minneapolis beating pedestrians, pulling cars over, they're pulling cars over. They're stalking white people because they look like they might be ICE and harassing them. There's videos of them ripping a guy, telling a guy screaming, take it off because he wore an American flag hoodie. And then you have the storming of a church in violation of the law. They're not stopping. They've been escalating. And this is, you still have the George Floyd Square in Minneapolis years later. They caused billions of dollars in damage. They firebombed the White House grounds, set fire to St. John's Church, and they mocked Trump when he did disperse the crowd. They called him Bunker Boy because he was brought into an emergency bunker. Right now, what we have been witnessing is the right has done nothing but beg the system. We voted in November because we are moral and just people who say we don't riot, we don't burn things down, we don't shoot people, we vote. And then we did, and Trump's been somewhat ineffective domestically in this regard. If we continue to allow Democrats to beat, murder, and terrorize, and we do nothing, there is only one logical conclusion at this point. We will be crushed into paste.
So if the left is beating, murdering, and terrorizing, are you suggesting the right should also do that?
The right should use the law against these people and put them in prison. Like I said, we do. We vote. We beg the system to deal with it. We don't go out. We don't riot. We don't shoot people. You suggested these people should not go to prison for storming the church.
I didn't say that. I just said 10 years. I say now 10 years is
well, that's the penalty, isn't it? That's the
excessive.
maximum.
I'm trying to remember the exact part of the act. but I think
Conspiracy against rights?
Yeah, well, that's what they're charging. They're saying they're charging under the KKK Act because they said the FACE Act is a little bit difficult because of the ingress and egress. Did you actually block? So it's easier to just go after conspiracy of rights. Though I think they'll also catch FACE Act violations.
Yeah, I don't think 10 years is good, but I do think prison in general, and that means at least a year. It is the federal statute, 10 years. Yeah, it was 10 years. Yeah. The maximum penalty for Klan Act is 10 years. With aggravating factors, it can be life. Life in prison. And so now you have the state laws where they've enacted these civil rights protections, re-enshrined them, which religion is one of them. I say live by the sword. We treat others as though as how they want to be treated. So if Democrats say we are going to protect against discrimination, we say, well, you stormed into a church, religion is a protected class, and you lock them up. Those are their rules.
I personally think that that's reasonable. I was putting myself in the heads of some of those churchgoers. Probably really thought they were about
the
to
thing
all
that
get
matters
killed.
ultimately in the end is that I think it is obvious to everybody watching the show that Democrats think they're right. And they're justified. The difference is the moral framework they use, which is the point of bringing this up. Do we believe in the Second Amendment? Is it universal? It's certainly not universal. The Second Amendment applies to good Americans who believe in the Constitution against those who would subvert it, like these people are. So we can frame it like this. The American people are all holding hands, singing songs under a rainbow. When the British return, my God, it's Revolutionary War 2.0. A bunch of British people land with U-boats crashing into the shores of California for some reason in the Pacific. There was a flanked attack. And they say, we're taking this land back for the crown. And they pull out guns. Are we going to be like, well, they have a right to keep and bear arms? Or are we going to be like, enemy invaders, put them down?
That's completely unrealistic. They'd be like, Saad, we are here.
Of course, we don't give our enemy, foreign invasion.
Zoran Mamdani's
rights.
campaign said that he was intentionally going to protect non-citizens from federal law enforcement that were duly appointed by the duly elected American government. That is insurrection. He announced it. He went on The View and said he wants to abolish ICE. This is an individual not from this country, later did gain citizenship, threatening the people who democratically elected a Congress, a president who then appointed and the Senate confirmed a Supreme Court. And these people are saying, your laws be damned. We'll do what we want. And one of these guys is walking around with a gun. And we go, drat, he's used our own rules against us. Well, I say that brace could be a federal offense. I'm not going to give you any leeway here. No benefit of the doubt. Look, now I'm not going to rag on the leftists who do believe in owning guns. But for the liberals who have tried to ban them like they're doing right now in Virginia, making it harder to buy guns, why would I give these people an inch? I'm going to be like, nah, you live the way you want, and you support the people that want to take guns away. So I say you get what you want.
When Eisenhower was sending the 101st down to the South to march people into schools by bayonet to break segregation, there weren't a bunch of Southerners sitting there with their guns, pointing them, laying them on their arm, staring at the 101st Airborne. That's not how it went down. And if they had, they would have learned a lesson real quick. It's not like there's some kind of lack of precedent here.
Let's jump to this story where things are getting a little spicy. We've got this from Newsweek. Speedway faces boycott calls after ICE agents kicked out of gas station. Social media users are alleging that Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino and other federal agents were denied service at a speedway in Minnesota. Self-described journalist, self-described, come on, Newsweek, Cam Higbee wrote an X on Wednesday, Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino denied service. I do believe we actually have the video here. And I think this is the speedway video. Yeah, it looks like it. And they actually threw food at him. So I'm not sure anybody should get charged for throwing Doritos at a guy, but I do think that Speedway should issue a statement saying we do not want to have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's it.
That Hampton Inn learned their lesson because Hilton just cut them loose.
Yeah.
Also,
You see the sign getting pulled down?
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
Yeah, literally. Like it was the changing of the guard. It was like when the British left Hong Kong, and it was really dramatic. This is the left. They don't want Bavino to get his hands on some like any Zin because like he would lock in to be like 20 million deported by like probably the end of the year.
Just immediately get Chads out.
Yeah, literally. So like the left, this is a very tactical play. I would say this is probably their most genius play yet, is preventing Bavino from getting his paws in like a white monster. I mean, it'd be so over for every illegal. Like they'd be
That's
gone.
right. That's the Gen Z perspective on why they stopped him.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. That's the game. I know Auron's going to be like, oh, like the South in 1860. That's not what's going on. We know what's going on. That's absolutely what it is. They're trying to get his mitts off the secret sauce. The
You know
elixir of
what it
patriots.
was? It's because you ever get those tornadoes at Speedway? You know what those are? Yeah, and they got the spicy cheese one.
Oh God.
They knew that once he took one bite, it was going to be the John Hamm meme where he's just
literally.
like, turn the lights off. What that song is? They can't
It'd be
have
like
him.
in Space Jam, he bites into that roller dog, and then like when they get their the Michael's secret sauce, and they just like load up. That's what would happen in Border Patrol.
I gotta
Be
imagine he's
throwing
probably
them
going to the
out.
bathroom.
I mean, we got Wawa in Florida now, so we don't have to live like that anymore. You know, like we got all the best.
We should be aristocratic. There's been some talks on the right, maybe more like aristocratic taste. Maybe we should go for like 7-Eleven.
Should we
Wawa
boycott
nationalism.
Speedway?
Yeah. Wawa nationalism.
Should
so
we
true.
boycott Wawa?
Yeah,
Dude, Wawa is so good.
I go to Wawa all the time anyway, so.
It's wild.
Absurdly good for being gas station food.
Yeah, right. Should we boycott Speedway?
Why not?
So what was Speedway's?
Got to boycott something?
What was Speedway's recourse here? Were they like abetting this, or was this just people showed up at a Speedway and stopped them? I mean,
No,
Speedway doesn't have like agents.
apparently the Speedway said you guys have to leave,
Okay.
and then
well, that's the case. Yeah, it's easy. I don't go there anyway. So boycott. I've been boycotting for years. I knew this would happen.
I was already-
I can't
I was
afford a
already-
car. I'm Gen Z.
Yeah, literally.
Hyperstition. I was already boycotting. I didn't.
I just sense it.
I've
It's
been
called
doing this for
instinct.
years.
It's called killer
I
instinct.
knew they weren't patriots. I could feel it.
Yeah, I could just sense it. It's like I have like a patriot detection. I could just smell it when I pass a Speedway. I was like, I knew it.
Yeah, walked in one time. There were no white monsters in the case. I knew it was up.
Yeah, sir. We only have 3 milligram. Scumbags, you're boycotted.
I'm looking up who owns Speedway. I want to see whose stock's taking a hit
Patel,
right now.
probably this one.
Owned by 7-Eleven.
Let me get really. They're Japanese.
What?
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
the
Yeah,
Japanese, they want to
sure.
go again? They want to go again? Well, we got a few more nukes sitting around.
A few more. That's an understatement.
Yeah, it was acquired in 21 for $21 billion by 7-Eleven.
Wow. $21 billion.
It's like 3 tanks of gas in California.
And the Japanese bought out 7-Eleven a while ago.
Yeah.
Japanese 7-Elevens are something to behold, and they make American 7-Elevens look like outhouses.
That's what like really radicalized me. Was going to like a 7-Eleven in Japan and seeing like, oh, this is what like society is supposed to look like.
Yeah, like everyone's floating around, like they're immortal.
They're
There's
all bowing to you and like
they have
like
replicators. You
Yeah.
can just
Does
be
this mean
like,
we need to,
tea,
like,
Earl Grey, hot, and
Does this mean we have to like tariff Japan until they bring us their 7-Eleven staff? Like, sorry, you have to turn it all over.
No,
Yeah,
culture
well, I
matters.
mean-
We will never have Japanese 7-Elevens in
Yeah.
America.
The thing about Japan is that it's a high trust society.
It's an ethno state. Yeah.
It's right.
like Squidward.
But they started bringing in, Indians
Right.
and African migrants for some reason. Why did they do that?
No, because they're not having babies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7-Eleven is owned by 7 and I Holdings. It is a Japanese company.
It's Japanese,
First
yeah,
I
yeah.
heard that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
got
Do you
bought
know
out.
how mad I was when I got to Tokyo and I saw like Indian people? I was like, no, it's not like the cartoons.
It's like when you show up to Paris now and it's all just, in Arabic or Farsi
I was like,
or
my
something.
Oh, yeah.
immersion. No, you're not
I
supposed
think
to be here.
the funniest thing about Japan when I got there was that they don't have like Brad Pitt, like Robert Downey Jr. They have Goku and Lupin the Third and like Naruto, and like I see a big billboard cut out of Goku. He's like at this point a 40-year-old cartoon character, and I'm like, I guess it's kind of like Mickey Mouse. But you know what I respect about the Japanese people is that the cartoons we've propped up for generations are retarded, and the cartoons they prop up are the most brutal. Like they beat the out of each other, and they're just fighting all the time. You know, I like that.
They are obsessed with Snoopy. When I was over there,
What, really?
They're like glazing him big time. I was like, okay,
Glazing
to be fair, he is a war hero. So, you know, there's something
That's
to
true.
that.
Yeah. World War I flying
World
ace.
War That's right. Yeah, he fought
Took on
the Red Baron.
Yeah, very impressive.
Many
very impressive.
sorties over, Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah, the Ghost of Kiev. Okay,
Yeah.
how about Snoopy?
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
Snoopy? His KDR was crazy. He was like kill streaks, like UAV and that sort of thing. It was great.
I need Sam Hyde as Snoopy as World War I flying ace. Yeah.
really go deep. Yeah.
I guess like
What was the
big-
story again? Speedway.
No, the bigger picture here is that there are roving bands of leftists. Apparently, people were saying that this mob was just following him around screaming for hours.
Okay, so probably he went in there maybe even to get away from these people, and then people followed him in, and 7-Eleven was like, oh my God, everybody out. Everybody
Speedway.
out. Maybe that happened. I don't know.
Well, still, kick out the agitators, not the victim.
Yeah. Put the agitators in jail.
Yeah.
They're like, we
There
don't
you
want to
go.
take sides. And you're like, bro, you have a building in the United States. You've already taken a side. Like, defend the law.
It'd be funny. Like
in this
Japan
case.
is just like, we don't have anything to do with this. We're out. They sell the company.
Japan, just Pearl Harbor's the Speedway.
I mean, I do appreciate that we occupied Japan for so long that they took on both our sports and like our Western. Like it's Japan, like they have people who are obsessed like weebs in the United States, but with like American Western culture. Like they have revolvers and they put on like the shooting competitions.
You know, they have. I think it's like what is it? Ketchup fried rice. What is it called in Thailand?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever follow like Oda Nobunaga, the Japanese
Yeah,
warlord?
ketchup fried rice. Real quick. So what happened was when the U.S. Troops were stationed there, I think it was World War II. The troops were like, "We want hot dogs," and they didn't have buns because they had no bread. So they made a bed of rice and put a hot dog on it and ketchup, and so that's how they would eat their hot dogs.
We honey boo booed the system there. Yeah.
And then now I went to Thailand and they were like, you should try the ketchup fried rice. And they were like, it's rice, ketchup, hot dogs, and raisins. And I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I love it.
They had me until raisins.
That's struggle food.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently it's Japan similarly as well.
Well, that's like a lot of East Asia. They're like these weird holdovers from World War II, where the people are just like obsessed. Like they have the John Frum cult, and like all these Pacific islands, where the GIs would drop like care packages to these random
Oh,
islands.
yeah, the cargo cults.
Yeah, the cargo cults. Yeah, so it's a
Those are wild. They thought it was God. Like,
So they
bringing
built plane effigies.
Yeah, to summon it again. Yeah.
that'd be,
Man.
How fun would that be to be in one of those?
Oh man, that's how why
You just
they're
see
like
a white guy and just get hyped up.
when they're like Zeus was a god. I feel like he was bringing the cargo call.
You could just bring the most like random white dude and just like be a king.
Now, what if I told you your cargo cult was the Constitution?
Oh snap!
Our
Yeah.
cargo cult is Amazon. What?
That was the bait and switch. That
no.
was the mott.
No, more that you can't. You're trying to go through the motions to summon it again, but you don't know how it works.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's
so true.
So we're going to digital age now. The internet obliterated liberalism basically with ideologies and then mass migrations with Facebook groups and all this crap. I don't know what the future government's going to look like. I don't want totalitarian, communistic technocracy, which like World Economic Forum and China, where they own the corporation. But I don't want corporatocracy, where the corporations are making their own governments. What is your best idea of how it could be better?
Well, you're getting what has been called the China convergence, because that's actually it turns out that corporate fascism is the only way to operate government at large scale. So all of your countries, no matter what they're going to call themselves, are basically slowly merging on this one institution, which is going to be corporate fascism. So I wrote a book on it, Total State, if anybody wants more.
Yeah.
So the goal is to be in charge of one of these corporations to be king.
Well, I mean, when I say corporate fascism, I mean like the state operating.
Like a corporation.
We're all moving to the China model. Like,
Yeah.
Technically, they're communist, but in actuality, it's actually just fascism.
Right.
And that's the only way you can actually manage information. You can handle immigration at scale. You can still have a market economy, but continue to have control over information.
But you need to have elections so people think they have an option.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they never win.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, but it was a vote, right?
Yeah, we have popular sovereignty as our legitimating thing. So we're going to go through the motions of that kind of stuff, but we're all moving towards that same government system because it's the only thing that works at scale. I don't like that. I wish we would scale down governments, but as long as we're moving towards larger scale governments, this is the only way we're going to go.
And the inverse is true about communism. It works beautifully among 10 people.
Right.
I did that pause for suspense, as I often do.
started to believe it.
10 people living on a farm, it's really easy to have a commune. The joke I always make is the one guy walks in and he goes, "Hey everybody, my watermelons are ready. I grew watermelons. You want to have some?" "Yeah, okay." And they share watermelon. It's like, okay.
Your payment is the vasopressin that you release when you help people.
Yes.
And those vasopressin, it's kind of like oxytocin. It's a
I
bonding
think the
hormone.
reality is when you grow watermelon in your backyard, you grow more than you need. So you go inside and say, "Hey, who wants to have some watermelon?" And then someone else is like, "It's messy in here. I'm going to clean up." It's real easy. Or the other argument is that a family is communist, right? The dad's effectively the dictator, and he provides and whatever, and everyone gets what they need, regardless of the chores. You might get an allowance. At small scale, communism is fantastic. At large scale, it's psychotic.
So I agree. Corporate fascism seems like the model, the horrific. Would it be like all of our Constitution is just out the window? Like no more free speech. If you say the words that our corporation doesn't like, you're banned forever. You can't have a bank account. We'll starve you out. Do you see that as part of this?
How is that not what you're under?
Yeah.
Well, now
you
they're
have
saying
a level of
Auron,
technocratic control.
let me put it like this. Here's my vision of an AI future. So just a moment ago, you were describing corporate fascism as the structure of governance that works at scale. Nothing else seems to do it. My view of what is currently happening with AI is that human beings are turning from sovereign entities into cells in a multicellular organism, as one would describe it. That is, we are building from a multicellular organism into a multicellular organism system. This system, the AI, will program people to do singular jobs. A person will be born. They will be narrative fed the idea that the post is the greatest job in the world. And they're going to grow up with other kids being trained to be postal workers, and they're going to feel pride and joy when people celebrate their postal prowess. And then when they're older working the job, they're going to be like, "Can you believe there's anybody who wants to do any other job? Like, who wants to be in a movie? That's crazy. I got the best job in the world." And so the AI will need us to be like that. Now, what happens in a human body when a cell deviates from its intended function and does something else?
Gets killed by the
Cancer. So in this future system, when you have a corporate machine, so Ian was describing, have no free speech, what'll happen? Right. The nucleus of the corporatist fascistic machine says, are you disruptive or are you negligible? Even right now, we are all chock full of viruses our bodies don't really care about. It's a normal thing, actually. So long as the virus doesn't cause serious damage, your body kind of ignores them. So we get a lot. Some theorize that humans actually evolved because viruses went in the system, changed things, and stayed there and didn't cause enough damage to actually destroy the system, and then put some of that RNA into our DNA or whatever it might be. If you, in this system, and this is how it is now, say things that are naughty or not really that disruptive, the system's not going to waste resources on you. But when you cross a certain line, it'll come to destroy you like a cancer cell. And I think that's what this machine is ultimately going to be.
Yeah, you definitely have these situations where the entire system is designed to socially engineer people to fill those spots. It's not organic community for the sake of human flourishing. It's community and connection only to the extent which it serves the system, which is why I think Nick Land is one of the most important philosophers working right now. I've had him on my channel several times, but his point is ultimately that AI is going to outlive the need for human beings, that basically we are the sex organs of capital, and we are creating autonomous the autonomous systems that are just going to simply use and discard us at the end of the day. And what you feel your goals as a human being doesn't really matter. You're being entirely conditioned for no other reason to serve this accelerating technological progress.
You called it the system, and that does sound like how they say the party or the country. Like that's Mussolini.
Sure.
That was his big fascist thing.
I think
a religion of the state.
The left likes to say that the old world is dying and the new world is struggling to be born. You've heard that before? Yeah, but the new world is the machine. The machine is desperately trying to make itself. It's going to happen. I think the greatest threat to mankind is AI. I don't mean that to say that like humans are going to go extinct. Some actually believe one of the most popular theories is that this will ultimately lead to the end of humanity, but it will fundamentally change us into weird, I don't know, functional retards. And I don't mean that. I mean that literally. Like The AI has no reason for us to be fully fledged functional human beings. It needs us for a rudimentary task.
Yeah, it might look like if we evolve a break off Homo technus instead of, and then there's Homo sapiens, they'll look at the technus and they'll be like, are they retarded? Because people are plugged into the machine. They won't need to speak. They'll all be brain monitoring each other, and they'll look like retarded humans to the humans, and they'll be like, what is wrong with those? But
They'll be doing things, they'll taking actions that are indecipherable to a human. To a regular human, we see someone go to the grocery store, we get it. We see them walking with their wife and their child, we get it. We see them going to work, we get it. Hailing a taxi cab, riding a bike. The machine is going to need people to do weird things that are incongruous because we can't see the big picture. And so these AI-linked humans, you'll see them like walking on their hands and then falling over, and you're like, what are they doing? You can't perceive the bigger picture of what the AI is calculating and producing.
Yeah, it's like seeing you tread on the shoes at a certain angle at a certain time of day, and everyone knows like, what in the fuck? It's data. The machine wants the data.
C.S. Lewis wrote a phenomenal essay called The Abolition of Man back in the 1940s. And basically he said, he predicted that we were going to see the social engineers learn to radically unchange the underlying parts of human nature. And after they learn to eventually work all of those different elements out of human nature, we will have effectively abolished man, because the last generation to have any connection to organic human understanding will be completely gone. That's why it's so critical for us to understand things in states of being and not just systems anymore. We have to struggle back for humanity. We have to fight back against the idea that we can just become these automatons. And the only way to do that is reconnect to actual ways of being rather than abstract understandings of ideologies or systems. And that's really something that requires us to scale down, which is what nobody wants to do.
Well, like, what would that look like exactly?
It would mean reducing the size of our civilizations to ones in which we can actually interact, where Dunbar's number matters again, where people aren't just digits on a screen or social media interactions, and we can actually build organic understandings of each other. But again, right now, more and more, all of our interactions are entirely abstract. Of course, we saw this especially after COVID. You just didn't even see human beings, right? Everything was Netflix or screens or whatever, and people are continuing to retreat more and more in this way.
Dude, I'm getting, when I look at X, I'm like, probably fake. I don't know what to believe. I was asking, I don't know if it was Tate, Serge, somebody. I'm like, what? Or maybe it was Kellen. It was like, the antidote is like just hanging out with people. Like,
yeah, we have a shattered epistemology. We have no shared understanding of like how to form truth, how to understand the world around us. And the only way to reforge that is seeing each other in real life again, having real experiences, not trying to abstract things, not try to remove things, actually be with people and this is why the great sort is also so important. It returns us back to the possibility of having shared communities again.
I wonder if, you know how you're in a dream state? People say they can't read in dreams, that when you look at the letters, it'll be like, it won't be real. And that's how you know you're in a dream, is if the clock looks weird. And like that DMT laser experiment shows those weird shapes, like dream letters. When people think they're going to be communicating with real people, they're going to be stuck in the machine thinking it's real. Look for those words. Look for the little indiscrepancies in the letters and the vowels and shit to realize that you're in the machine, and then squeeze your eyes really tight until it hurts. And that pain will wake you up. You can do it in actual dreams too. If you're ever in a nightmare and you want out, close your eyes as tight as you can in the nightmare. And as soon as it starts to hurt, you'll realize you're awake.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis was alarmingly accurate.
Yes.
Alarmingly accurate.
I had the craziest dream the other night. Kid you not. I had a dream that I was talking to someone about Green Day, the band, and how I love that song. What is it? Blood, Sex, and Booze. You know that one? And then in my dream, I pulled up Spotify and it wouldn't come up. And then I was like, where's the song? And then I Googled it and it didn't come up. And then I was like desperately telling people, like, this song is real. I swear to God, I started singing it. And they're like, I don't know what song that is. And I was like, hold on. And then no matter how many websites I searched, the song didn't exist. And I kid you not, I woke up and I was like, why was I dreaming about that song from the year 2000? That's so weird. I like that song. And then I looked it up and there it was.
Yeah. I
Blood,
just
Sex, and
Googled it and
Booze.
it came right up on Spotify.
Yeah. That's a weird dream.
That's like forgetting my lines before a play. That was like my stress. That's like a version of a stress dream where like you lose the
Bro, I
information.
haven't heard that song in 20 years. It's a weird dream.
I just saw some Green Day a couple days ago. I wonder if it was the day you had
Ian,
the dream.
You know what dreams are?
I can't know.
You're seeing other dimensions.
Okay.
If the multiverse is real, we're not imagining stories. We're seeing into other realities.
It's like winding a clock.
A lucid dream, when you realize you're in a dream, you start to, you think words instead of say them because your body's obviously can't move. You think whatever you want. Donald Trump walks in the room, and then it happens. So I wonder if you're controlling other realities with your
If
lucidity.
the multiverse exists and every possible universe exists, we are not imagining and creating ideas. Energy can't be created or destroyed, only changed. We are perceiving existing realities and writing them down. That means there's a universe where there's a Spider-Man.
That's actually true. If the universe that we exist in is eternal, eventually, no matter how remote the possibilities are, whatever will happen.
But again, if energy cannot be created, then what is the system in our minds that imagines a Batman?
Yeah, it's like a transmutation. It's putting energy internally, which is twisting, helixing back out, and then coming back into the black hole that we're in. So I think that's how you're creating external
Ian, I'm saying
universes.
Batman's real.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Somebody created it.
No, they didn't. They saw it.
Bob Kane peered into the other universe.
You know, have you seen where the
singularity?
Well, what happened was he was working with scientists who invented a machine that allowed him to rip open the time-space continuum, and his daughter's pinky got stuck, and when it closed, it cut her pinky off.
I'm glad we're all going to Bioshock Infinite. So I was literally just going to say, so you discovered the music through a tear in reality?
Yeah.
We were just going to get into that.
And then for those that don't know, basically because she exists in multiple realities, she can pull open tears in the space-time continuum. Fun game. Not as good because they got rid of the injections, the plasmids with a soda pop.
that's woke.
OG Bioshock. I know, seriously.
Utter woke nonsense.
You should play it though. You should play.
I don't even know what it is.
Bioshock Infinite is basic. So it's a fun game.
Yeah.
Check
Children.
it out. Bioshock is one of the greatest pieces of human art ever created. For those that haven't played it, it's an old game, but you must. It's a game built on the theme of like Atlas Shrugged, and a bunch of rich people build a city underwater because they're like, we're gonna go do whatever we want. And then because there's lax rules and anybody can just do what the market wants, they start genetically splicing themselves, which collapses society because everyone's all messed up. And then you get there and you're like, I can inject myself, and then you can like throw fireballs or whatever weird stuff happens. It's pretty cool. In Bioshock Infinite, the theme is American exceptionalism. So you're in an alternate reality where there's flying cities, and when they invented these flying cities, they went over and shut down the Boxer Rebellion and just bombed the crap out of China. I recommend it. It's a fun game, and it's an interesting take on.
I mean, Ken Levine really hates America and white people, so you get that too. But they're pretty fun games.
Is he the developer?
Yeah, he
Ken
was
Levine?
the
But
original.
Bioshock, the first one.
The first one is
So
a
good.
masterpiece.
My dad
Masterpiece.
even loves it.
You
He's
fight
the guy who told
Atlas.
me about it.
Literally, the final boss is Atlas.
Dude, I
It's,
just want to
it's the Atlas from the cover of the book.
shout out to Blur in the YouTube chat with a Bioshock normie slop comment. That was for you, I think, Tate. Bioshock normie slop.
I love Normie Slop.
And that's why I would
say
say all the time, would you kindly smash the like button?
it's so true. You know what's?
Would you
mentioned
kindly?
the
Yeah, the reference is the character is compelled to take any action when the person says.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, the game's
Spoiler
what,
alert.
26
what the
years
frick?
old.
I haven't played it.
I can't believe
When
it's that
what the
old.
frick?
When the guy, whenever he prefaces his request with "Would you kindly," he's compelled to take the action. What an
wild.
awesome game! It's not even that hard either. It's
Yeah,
just
the second one's actually pretty good too.
I started it and didn't get into it. It's not. I don't know.
It's actually pretty good if you get into
all
it.
right.
I tried to play Bioshock on the hardest difficulties. I'm like, I want to play the best game on the hardest difficulty. I couldn't even beat the first level. It's scaling back. But sorry, you were going to ask.
catch.
Well, yeah, it's free. It's free.
That's it. Bioshock
You were
Infinite.
going to ask Auron a badass
Yeah,
question.
it's something Tate. Yeah.
No, I was just soying out because you mentioned the abolition of man. Because like something else that's crazy in there is how he literally predicts like gene editing.
The Abolition of Man is one of the best sci-fi books ever written. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's 1984. No, it's Brave New World." No, it's the abolition or that hideous strength.
He literally outlines
the,
like how the elite are going to engage in gene editing and
Yes.
like embryo modification. He literally like discusses transgenderism like as we see it.
the best thing. So he wrote the essay, and then he novelized it into a sci-fi book called That Hideous Strength.
Yeah.
And That Hideous Strength is one of the most prophetic things you've ever seen because it's all about how these small deaths, like it's everyone betrays people because they lie. The media is lying. The academics are lying. It just shows you that the totalitarianism doesn't come necessarily just because of jackboots and Hitler and Stalin and all this stuff. It comes from the small tyranny of weak men, and that's the beauty of That Hideous Strength. It's not this macro story of a deep fascistic government. It's the way in which these small violations of God and nature's law ultimately bring you to this weakened state and create the situation we're in right now.
I have no choice but to jump to this next story.
Oh, snap.
This is from The Guardian. Breaking. Colin Hay strenuously disapproves use of Down Under at March for Australia rallies. Former Men at Work frontman who was born in Scotland and emigrated to Australia tells anti-immigration protesters, go write your own song, leave mine alone. So March for Australia was, August and October. They aimed to protest discontent towards perceived mass immigration in Australia. Apparently, they played Down Under. And they say in a post on Facebook and Instagram accounts, the singer-songwriter singled out anti-immigration groups, March for Australia, our national identity, under the slogan, our national identity will not be erased. I most strenuously disapprove of any unauthorized, unlicensed use of Down Under for any March for Australia events. Down Under, a song I co-wrote, does not belong to those who attempt to sow xenophobia within the fabric of our great land, our great people. Down Under is ultimately a song of celebration. It's for pluralism and inclusion, unity, not division. I gotta be honest, the song's actually super racist.
Yeah, literally.
I'm not even kidding. And I love Men at Work. They are the greatest band of this or any generation, and the 80s were the greatest decade in the history of humanity. So I'm a huge fan of Colin Hay. But I actually think, let me pull the lyrics up. You know, I'm surprised they didn't cancel him.
Have you heard any of his solo work? Because it's actually really good. Like Overkill is an amazing song.
Oh, bro, of course. But that was Men at Work.
No, did they do that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
of
okay,
course,
okay.
of course. Let me just show you the lyrics to this song. Traveling in a fried out combi on a hippie trailhead full of zombie. I met a strange lady. She made me nervous. Blah blah blah. It's not so bad. Went to Brussels, and there's a guy, but the last verse is, dead in Bombay with a slack jaw, are you trying to tempt me because I come from the land of plenty? I mean, clearly there's xenophobia in there, talking about the other cultures that are trying to take from his...
Yeah.
Let me just stress this again. Are you trying to tempt me because I come from the land of plenty? Basically, in a dead in Bombay, someone's trying to tempt him because his country is more, I'm half kidding, but come on.
No.
Let's not play stupid games. If you want to play stupid games, you'll play stupid games.
It's literally like when libtards, like when the Venezuela invasion was going on and it was super based and we were using Fortunate Son and all the edits, and they're like, that's actually like a based anti-war song. I'm like, no, it means blackbagging Maduro now, and for the same reason. Sorry, Land Down Under means like getting them out now.
Yeah,
That's,
Death of the author. We own this now.
yeah,
Do
literally.
you come from a land down under where women glow and men plunder?
Right.
And also chunder. Did you hear that second verse? Where beer does flow and men chunder. Which, interestingly, do you know what chunder means?
I do. Richie Jackson enlightened me to it.
Yes.
I believe
Chunder means to vomit. And the lore apparently is that on the boats, they would yell, watch under. Because if somebody was on the lower decks looking out a window or whatever and someone barfed, they'd say, watch under, you're going to get barfed on. And so they would hear chunder.
You know what else I learned about pirates? The reason they wore eye patches, not because they were blind, it's because above deck it was so bright that when they would go under deck, they'd move the patch
A little
over and they could
swap.
see.
Yep.
Well, look at that line right there. Do you speak of my language? Because he's hearkening back to the original founding ethos of Australia, which is the strong Anglo society. He's saying English is my language. Australia is just an extension of England. And he's calling for like total Anglo supremacy, which honestly is kind of pushing it for me, Colin. It's a little crazy. Colin is like totally out of line here. I think the March for Australia, they shouldn't use the song because he's a far-right extremist. And that's
True.
not
Yeah.
welcome
I
in
mean,
the
it makes
ranks.
them look, like Nazis, to
I
be
know,
honest.
it's really disturbing. I mean, geez.
Do you speak of my language? That's so racist. Oh my God.
Of course he does.
I'm offended.
That's what I liked about it, though.
Unbelievable. No, yeah, they should, again, retcon it. Like, again, Fortunate Son, though, is actually the Based Invasion neocon song now. Same thing. Men Down Under, or Land Down Under, is now the Patriot March in Australia. And the March for Australia is coming up. It's like next week, I think.
I am not kidding when I say that Men at Work are amazing. Amazing music, really great stuff. I mean, Overkill is just one of the best songs ever.
Ezra Bain did a great cover of it.
Yeah, and Down Under, of course,
Colin.
is a legendary song. But, in all seriousness, I don't really think it's a racist song, but it is from the perspective of white Australians and Scottish going to other places and treating these people like others and referring to your land as the land of plenty. So, listen, the people in Australia love the message you made, and it resonates with them about the land where women glow and men plunder and how it's a land of plenty, and they don't want to give it away. You know what I don't like is that the generations before us created a world and inspired a generation who then turn around and espouse these ideals and get yelled at for it. And a good example, with respect, Graham Linehan, who's a good dude, and we had him on the show, and he's based, but he wasn't always. And when Count Dankula got arrested for teaching his pug to do that stupid Roman salute, it's actually really funny, but the intention was to make the cutest little thing a pug do something repugnant. And he got arrested for it. Graham Linehan said that he thought that Count Dankula was just a white supremacist who did something offensive and should go to jail for it. What's really sad is that Father Ted, the show that Graham had written, had a bit where some Asians were coming to the church, and Father Ted, there was a scuff on the window that was like a little black square. And so he couldn't get it off. And when the Asians are walking towards the church, one of them goes, "He's not a fascist, calm down." And they look up in the window and they see him waving and he's going like this. And you can see the mark over his, mouth or whatever. And then they're like, "Okay," and they turn around. And then he goes, "What? They're leaving? Where are they going? Why are they leaving? What's that?" And then they look in the window and you see him going, "Nah, nah, nah, nah." And that's a Nazi joke. And what's sad about it is that Count Dankula was probably inspired by this kind of humor. Growing up watching this kind of comedy or South Park or whatever show he may have been watching. So he's like, "I'm going to do a joke too." And then Graham Linehan himself, who wrote these jokes, is now cheering for him going to jail for it. That's what I see with stuff like this. Now, with all due respect to Graham, he apologized. He's like, I was wrong. I didn't even know. I didn't realize they were lying to me. This is what I see with this. A story about what it means to be Australian. And it's not overtly racist, but they're literally talking about this experience of being Australian, and it's inspired by him being in Australia and how he talks about his country. And there is a generation, several generations that heard this song, believe in it, and love Australia. And now you have mass immigration coming in, changing the culture and face of this country, and he's yelling at them.
Yeah, these it was like funny to, how do I say this? It's funny to be like racist in like a colloquial, genial way with your friends in the 80s and the night before the internet. After the internet, not only are people getting bombarded with influxes of migration, it's the shaming coming from whatever, the machine itself, or people denying you revenue because you said the bad word. So now all of a sudden it's not, you can't just get away with, like, it was kind of normal, like you'd invite your friend over, you'd make fun of each other, and then you move on. And now it's like you get humiliated for doing it. I feel like it's an op, like it's a foreign op to disrupt the American way.
Ian, those cultural differences, it used to be an ocean away, and now it's like next door to you. So that's why it became like suddenly like, oh, this is actually like an existential threat.
I mean, I think we all remember Colin Hayes' song, glorifying Rhodesia. And so, when you have one like that, I think people are going to take cues. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, for real.
I like they talked about the slack-jaw Indian dude in Bombay, probably on opium. And he's like, "What are you trying to tempt me with opium?"
He's lying in a den.
Because I got money?
Exactly. Like that, I'm half joking to say it's racist, but that perception of these people, that's what they're complaining about in Australia right now, that you're mad about for them using your song.
And he, Colin referred to it as xenophobic. It's not xenophobic to want closed borders. It has nothing to do with fear of others. It's about overwhelming your system. You can't do it.
It's about loving. It's about loving your neighbors.
It sure is.
The point of whether it be xenophobic, racist, the point of those accusations is not that they believe it. It's to scare people into behaving a certain way. It's not, they don't care if you actually are xenophobic or not. They don't care if you're actually racist. There are plenty of people that say things.
They've burned it out. And that's why Nick Fuentes doesn't care to tweet Team Hitler.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care. You've burned out the insult. Right. Or the tactic.
And also xenophobic. I'm not afraid of xenos. I don't even know what a xeno is. I just want the migrants out. That's.
I think those are the bad guys from Super Metroid.
I was gonna say we have to. No,
is that the etymology from Super Metroid?
Yeah, absolutely, from the Greek or Super Metroid, one of the two. Yeah.
Okay.
Xeno meaning other. I'm not sure.
Is that what it is?
I thought
well, I'm
foreign.
xenophobic. I'm
alien.
petrified of others.
Yeah,
scary.
You are. So
Ooh.
You're not a xenophile. I thought maybe you would be.
Well. Depends.
Do you love the unknown?
Well, I guess the
do.
Metroids are the bad guys in
Well,
Metroid.
the xenomorphs are alien.
Oh, Xenomorph. There you go. Alien, not
a
Metroid.
xenomorph.
Yeah, Mother Bane is
But
the
of
bad
course
guy.
they're
It's a
ripping off
bug hunt.
Alien, so it's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Oh, okay, there
What a
you go.
fascinating world
I'm a
we
big
live
fan
in.
of Xenos just in general, but
Yeah,
too
maybe
many
I'm-
of them,
Yeah,
destroy any system.
A little xeno goes a long way. I
I'm
think.
kind of xenoed out at this point, actually.
Yeah.
You get one face hugger and it ruins the party.
Yeah, that's a
does.
good way to put it. Yeah.
And then if the guy doesn't speak English,
Space Pirates. Those are the bad guys. Ridley. Mother Brain.
Well, Ridley's the big vulture looking
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
oh yeah, Ridley.
And the X-Parasites.
Who are those other two dudes you
go.
got to fight? The guy with the quills,
I don't know.
and then Ridley's.
Oh, the birds.
Oh, Raven Beak.
Yeah.
And this is who's coming into Australia. No wonder they're terrified. Yeah. I mean, jeez.
I mean,
They're importing
Dark
supervillains.
Samus.
Can we at least get the sweet Samus armor out of this?
That could be a good cultural
Can
exchange.
you
I think.
upgrade that the game?
I mean, the reveal at the end is she's a hot chick in a bikini in the
Yeah.
first one, so that makes sense for
No,
Australia,
didn't you
right?
hear? She's trans.
Oh, have they done that now?
Because
I hate 2026.
what happened was when they were when all the trans investigations were going viral, people were like, think about it. Samus is 6'3", weighing 200 pounds. Like, that's how Samus is described. And then takes off the helmet and it looks like a woman. Trans woman.
If you ever
Or
wanna,
WNBA player.
Yeah.
if you want to play as the hot trans woman, type in Justin Bailey as the password when you play Metroid 1, and you'll get to play as her, him, her, whatever you want
With
to call
no
it.
suit on?
Yeah, just
But
in,
does she like roll into a ball and somersault
Yeah,
around?
she's
That's
got like
weird.
pointy knees compared to Seamus.
Ian loves pointy knees.
Yeah,
That's
and
like
you
his
start
thing.
with the
just
wave
gangly.
gun. It's awesome.
I'm telling you,
really?
some good knees.
Dude, fire knees, dude. Like
Good
watch out. Andrew Tate.
It
runs
means
But
for
it's
then,
money.
athleticism.
did they make a game where you actually play as Samus, the Zero Suit Samus?
I only ever played Metroid
Zero
1. I
suit.
don't know.
Yeah.
Super
And then
Metroid
she's in
was banging,
Smash
though.
Brothers.
I just know Samus from Smash Brothers. Yeah,
Yeah, that's her.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then they were like, it's funny because they were like, Samus is trans, and I'm like, have you played Smash Brothers?
Samus is a
That,
chick.
Oh, the Zero-
that is a woman.
The Zero Suit Samus isn't armor. It's like a body
Yeah, it's her
suit.
in just the
It's the suit
body
she,
suit.
that she puts on before the right.
Oh, okay, that's Justin Bailey gets you the Zero Suit.
Right.
That's probably what that is.
Smash Brothers.
Zero
that'll swing
suit.
that
They were
way,
like,
I know.
what? How do we say Samus with no suit on? Zero suit. Like, that's a dumb name. Work harder, be more creative.
Zero
They're
suit.
like, no
Say
suit
nude.
didn't shop very well.
Remember back in the day? Do you guys remember Nesticle?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had it. It was an emulator for NES
Yup.
games.
Oh yeah, wait, I do
Nesticle.
remember that.
Yeah, and G-Nest.
And you could go in and edit NES game sprites, and people were making all sorts of different kind of Mario games. It was hilarious.
I didn't know you could do that on Nesticle.
Released in
Yeah.
1997.
Which one, Nesticle?
Yeah, Nesticle.
Yeah.
It was such
April
a
3rd.
must download for a smartphone.
Bro, I had the
entire
wildest
Nintendo.
Game Boy emulator. Like when emulators were first coming out, it was like a DOS program, and it was really hard to operate. You had to get an adapter to like plug the game into the back of your computer, and I never figured out how to get it to work.
What system?
What do you mean, Game
What's it?
Boy?
Oh, it was a Game Boy emulator. You put it into the Game Boy. Interesting.
No, the Game Boy for your PC. If you wanted to run Game Boy games, the first emulators were just bonkers weird.
Yeah.
Nowadays, every game is
download
on the
them all.
web. Like
Yeah.
legit, you can go to a website and they have every single NES Game Boy game. Just play them.
Nice. I
Yeah,
had the MAME
future is here,
emulator.
bro.
That was the arcade emulator.
Dude, we already went over this in the past year where I was programming video games in real time during the show. I made a video game called Alien Invaders where it's basically like a bunch of like the graphics are rudimentary, so they're little rectangles come down and they try to invade your space. And you play this little triangle, this little white triangle, as the little brown rectangles try to get into your planet. It's called Alien Invaders, and you have to stop them.
Weren't you guys building like a big game? I remember you playtesting at some point when I was
Yeah.
here. I forgot.
Tim, for that game, you
Yeah.
gotta have 8-bit down under as like the
There you go.
So good.
Yeah. Chip tune that.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Oren, what's like the
We
most
do have a
important?
video game. It's called Normie Quest, and it was like
That's it.
there was one version that was done that my brother had programmed that was basically a King of the Hill style game based on the Freedom Tunes animations, and then we had a functional version of a procedurally generated near infinite game. The game was you play Normie. And he works. He's a construction worker. He's at the top of a skyscraper doing work. When all of a sudden his phone goes brrrr, and he looks down, and it says breaking. Oh no, I'm sorry. His phone goes brrrr, and it says reminder 2 p.m. Little Timmy's baseball game, Little League game, and he's like, well, I can't miss that. And then his phone goes brrrr again. He looks at it, and it says breaking: unarmed black man killed by police. And he goes, no, my God. And he runs to the edge of the skyscraper, and he looks down, and there's like 15 million Antifa just rampaging and riding in the city. And then he's like, I can't miss my son's Little League game. And when he turns around, the elevator opens up and a bunch of Antifa jump out. And he's like, oh no, it's Antifa. But then one of them starts going zzz, 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 and sparks flat and their head falls off and they're robots. And he goes, oh, thank God they're robots. Now I can be violent. And then he punches, in case of Antifa break glass, grabs a random weapon, procedurally, randomly generated. And the point of the game is to make your way down the skyscraper and exit the building, fighting through Antifa and other, wackaloons to make it to your son's Little League game.
That actually sounds wonderful.
What's
Yeah,
what's
and it was the structure was largely done. We had a bunch of items and upgrades, and then and the people working on it just stopped working on it, and then it just never went anywhere.
What was that the Japanese game where you have to fight like just tons of people, just comically large hordes of people? I'm trying to remember.
There's a lot of them.
There's a specific genre. It's like the Kingdom games or something.
Oh,
Tower
right.
You're these Japanese
I forgot
heroes,
what
and
it's
you,
called. It's
you
like a
knock
Fire
around
Emblem.
just thousands of
Hyrule
people
Warrior,
at once.
Warrior
Yeah,
game.
that's
That's
right.
right.
Dynasty Warriors.
There was a
Dynasty
Dynasty Warriors.
Yes.
That's
Romance of the
it.
Three
That would
Kingdoms.
be a great Antifa game. You just have
Comically large
just thousands and thousands of like fat purple haired
Robots.
minions running at you, and you're just knocking them around with your Patriot shield or something
Like
like that. Yeah.
American flag.
Exactly. Yeah. With base flag Stickman, you remember that guy? Like,
Yeah,
just
base
have him
Stickman.
clearing out, just lines of Antifa. You can summon your Proud Boys to
The boss is just a Kia coming through.
Or you could play as an Antifa and do the same thing. And that way you double your sales.
I would never play that.
Yeah, right. I'd come in at midnight. I'd see you. I'd be like, "Are you?" Oh shit! No, come in.
No, it's porn. I swear.
Hey, Auron, since you're here and you're like one of the smartest people, what do you think's the most important thing to tell everybody?
What's the most? You're going to have to give me a slightly narrower field.
About the book, about corporate fascism, or just the future of humanity, like how people can do better and preserve.
Sure.
Narrows it down.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, neck that down a little bit. No, I think the big thing is we're looking at post-human politics. Like we're looking at politics that are run almost entirely in systems and entirely disconnected from human needs and human understandings. And when you have that, you start to see these agendas and these kind of like collective consciousness moving through your political system, but you don't understand why. Like you don't grasp that these machines, these abstract entities, they're driving you more than you're driving them. And so I think the key thing that people need to start, like we talked about, people need to find ways to ground themselves back into human interaction and reality. Because I think politics is only going to get more crazy. It's only going to get more abstract. It's only going to become less human. And you need to find ways to remind yourself that actually you're doing this to interact with human beings, that that's what the world's about, that that's what your life is about, that's what your relationship with God is about. I think that's what people have to prioritize.
Thanks, dude. I was thinking about having kids while you were talking about that.
That would certainly be a great way to ground yourself. There's nothing that's going to snap you into reality quicker than that.
Yep.
I love you, Phil. You're a great
Well, I, mean,
dad, man.
I just had a kid, so
You're
I
biased.
didn't. My
glowing.
girlfriend did, so.
Your bias is showing.
All right, we're going to go
Yes,
to
absolutely.
your Rumble rants and super chats. So smash the like button. Share the show with every person you've ever met in your life. Go through your phone book. Find a name. You don't remember who that person is, but text them and say, are you watching Timcast IRL? Because you probably should be. You can follow me on X and Instagram, of course. We're going to have that uncensored portion of the show at rumble.com/TimcastIRL. But in the meantime, we got a great sponsor for you. It is Cove Pure. Man, good, clean water. That's what I'm talking about. It's the new year, my friends. You got to get healthy. Holidays are brutal, desserts, late night skipped workouts. But now that we're in the new year, it's time to reset. Let's get a New Year's resolution going, one that actually works and gives your body what it needs. It's a perfect time for Cove Pure. Here's the thing. Everyone jumps in the new year buying new supplements, trying new diet workouts, but they completely ignore the most important basic thing, water. Even mild dehydration impacts energy, focus, and metabolism. And one thing I found is that when I'm feeling sluggish, I'm wondering, like, did I not get vitamins? It's literally just water. It's usually water. I'll drink a cup of water, and then I feel great. Cove Pure changes this. When you think about all the garbage in the water, you're starting behind the curve before you even begin. Cove Pure changes that. Their Clear Wave technology is certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. Pretty much anything that isn't water, PFAs, microplastics, pharmaceutical residue, fluoride, all gets removed. It's the purest water you can get. Let you choose the temperature of your water, hot, cold, or warm. It has size presets, making it easy to remember to drink enough water. It makes your water taste so good. Easy setup, no installation needed, perfect for renters, and it looks super sleek and nice. Cove Pure makes it easy to get pure water with the push of a button. So this year, make a New Year's resolution that sticks. Improve your health with clean water. Right now, you can get $200 off for a limited time if you use my link, covepure.com/Tim. That's COVEPURE.com/Tim to start the new year right. We got one of these things. They're really awesome.
Dude,
I'm a big fan.
Thank you for having these guys as a sponsor.
Thank them. I mean, the fluoride out of the water is big.
Oh, man.
But we're on a well anyway, but there are trace residues and stuff.
And you can carry these around with you as you travel, which is phenomenal.
Based.
And then it remineralizes. I assume it's reverse osmosis, too. I haven't looked into it yet.
Super cool. All right, let's see what you guys got going on. Cheeseburger says disparaging things about James Lindsay and calls him gay and retarded. You know, that's what he said. All right. Metal Joe says, longtime Timcast member. I recently started a YouTube and Rumble discussing moral philosophy using topical subjects to do so. The channel is The Moral Philosopher for anyone interested. Right on.
All right.
Shout out. What do we got here? Forced Name Change says, hey, cast crew, I just want to offer a shout out for my buddy and his wife welcoming their third daughter to this world at 8:05 your time. Hello, baby Judith, 5 pound 6 ounce girl. Bravo. Congratulations.
Welcome to the world,
Love to hear it.
Patriot. Lot of work to do. Like a lot of work to do, redistricting everything. So just again, as soon as you can talk, really, we need you. So
That's
start
right.
working on that.
Truth.
That's right. What do we have here? Ligman Freud says,
Let's go.
open the coffee shop in Florida and a skate park. Man, I do not like Florida. Like, the government did a great job, and the people here are fantastic, but the weather. No.
Weather is beautiful right now. What are you talking about?
It was
Yeah,
72.
I like snow. I like mountains. I'm from Chicago. I like cold.
Yeah, you can keep it.
I look like I like cold. I just want to be in the cold all the
the
time.
damn bean,
We have an
dude.
AC unit they installed for us personally. Rumble installed an AC unit just for me because I'm like, I want it to be 10 degrees in here, but I'll compromise and let you guys have 50.
Tim, we have acquired some new territory that I think fits that.
Yes!
There you go. Move the studio to
Timcast
Greenland.
Greenland.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Getting guests will be impossible.
I was going to say
Random Eskimos on the
that's
show.
gonna be a fun plane ride.
They're just challenged. They're getting blubber all over the desk. It's like, guys, come on, a little decorum here. We're Americans
A
now.
whale
Yeah.
will be our guest.
No, we love Eskimos.
All polar bears.
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I can handle the heat though,
polar
but I don't
bear
wear
on
the beanie. I think it's just time to go full Saiyan, dude, and rip it off.
You just have a gigantic.
Saying?
Yeah, just be like full pool.
Pinochet says,
Tons of hair.
when I'm weaker than you, I ask you for freedom because that is according to your principles. When I'm stronger than you, I take away your freedoms because that is according to my principles. Dune. That was from Dune?
Frank Herbert, yep.
Wow. That's what they do. That's what they do. We should have another one that says, when I am weaker than you, I ask you for freedom because that is according to my principles. When I am stronger than you, I let you do whatever you want and hurt me because I'm Ian.
Oh man, no. Don't make me go
Direct
military,
quote.
bro.
That's right. Ian
wanna
said
do
it.
Yeah, that's not even
They
paraphrasing.
said
That's
that the
just direct
second
quote.
coming of Christ will come, but it'll either be an economic unifier or a destroyer of worlds. I don't want to. I'm not saying that I want to be that for people. I'm like, how can I carry Jesus' torch? I don't want
Go to church?
Go to church?
Ian always
your Bible.
touching on. Ian's always touching on.
There's actually a
blasphemy.
whole book about how you can do this.
Yeah, it's really handy.
Yeah.
But
There's like 66 books.
I love
depending on who you
military
ask.
Yeah, I
strategy
gotta
so
be
much.
honest, though.
I don't want to become an
Catholics,
industrial
maybe
killer.
a few more.
That's some DLC.
I feel like God in heaven, you call it blasphemy, but Ian's not intentionally blasphemous. So it's more like, the saints and God are going, ugh, Ian.
Like, geez, Ian, don't blow your cover, bro. Let him find out after you're gone.
Ian, the accidental heretic.
Yeah. What happens to someone like Ian when he goes to heaven? Do they say, well, he didn't really mean these things, so we don't hold it against him?
He just keeps stumbling onto this burning pile of sticks.
The first
Well,
ever
imagining,
person to
like-
be at the pearly gates and plead insanity.
They're gonna be like, thank you for playing Forrest Gump so well while you were on
Right.
Earth.
A funny bit I'm imagining is like Ian dies and goes to heaven, and then we're all like, well, I hope he's doing well up there. And then Ian in heaven is actually lecturing everybody and explaining to them why
He
they're
has
wrong.
the exact correct theology. He is the one person who has nailed it down. He is Calvin. He's got it.
Martin Luther's like, that's a great point.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I should have seen this coming. I was a fool the whole time.
It's a fool.
I love you, God.
All right, what
And
do
all
we got
you
here?
spirits out there, thanks.
Keefster says McCoys were jealous, sanctimonious pricks. Montani semper liberi.
Wow, we got a Hatfielder in that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the Wide Awakes are a little obscure, but yeah, a Hackfielder that's a long time.
Trads are really going crazy with the LARPing.
Mason says Ian is a real life example of the Herschel family from The Walking Dead, locking up zombies, desperately hoping their family is still in there.
Oh man, I am the guy in the movie that's looking for the cure, the whole movie. And
Yeah,
at the
but
end of the
like-
movie, I find it.
You're like you've got a girlfriend and she's a zombie and you're like, don't hurt her, she doesn't know. And then they're like, she's gonna bite you. And you're like, no, and then she bites you.
No, I wouldn't let that happen. Everything but the bite.
I'd be kind of into
Wait,
that.
that's not what I meant. That's not,
That sounds kind of whoa.
not everything.
Ow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You know,
Zombies out
I
there.
like zombie movies, but they just don't make sense.
Right.
Like the zombies are The zombies are like, I'll bite you, but not the other zombie. And you're like, but why? And then they try to justify like World War Z. It's like because they're emitting sickness and pheromones or something. And it's like,
The only one I really like is 28 Days Later.
yeah. And then the other one sucked.
I haven't seen them yet. I don't want
28 Days Later was pretty good. The third act was like, okay, I guess. And then the latest one, 28 Years Later. Where's 28 Months Later, bro? They skipped it, and then the years later was just dumb. They're like, oh, the zombies are now feral, gigantic. What do they call them? Like primals.
God.
The virus makes them just massive, ripped guys that want to bang women, and they have zombie babies. For real, it's like you've gone too far.
Is it Cillian Murphy? Is he still the main guy?
No.
Look, stick with the George Romero zombie movies. Those are great.
I want to make one. That's my plan right now as I'm working on a zombie movie.
I always had a really good idea for a prank I wanted to do where we, you need a house with like a second floor, maybe like an attic window, and then you get a bunch of your friends and get Hollywood zombie makeup and squibs. And you know what squibs are? You guys know?
Yeah,
They're banned now.
Squibs are banned now?
It's like all CGI because the squibs actually explode, right?
Right, yeah, sure. Well, you get squibs, and then you order pizza. And then when the pizza guy pulls up, or the DoorDash guy, and they're walking to the door, you yell, "You gotta get out of here! You gotta run!" And they're like, "What's going on?" Like, "Behind you!" And then they turns around, and then there's like, "Argh!" And then you go, boom! And then the squib pops. And then they're like, "What the?" And they're looking around, there's zombies everywhere, and you're actually shooting them. And then they're falling over. Like, what would that pizza guy do? He'd probably just take it, like, crap his pants.
If you do it in like Detroit, those are like,
If you do it in Detroit,
You're
you're
gonna see. I was gonna say incoming fire. Yeah.
you'd return fire. You'd be like,
Not my chance.
third time this night. Oh,
Yeah, if you're a pizza delivery guy
and then
in
you're
Detroit,
like,
not
you
strapped,
shot
you're asking
him.
for
You
it.
shot the zombies. And he goes, "They were zombies?"
yeah, literally.
All right, what do we got here? Forced Name Change says, since y'all are speaking about music and artists of yesteryear, have you heard of Van Morrison's most recent music? It's pure garbage.
No.
Ongoing senility with a beat of with a beat and a key. So bad.
Oh, wow.
Music's over, bro. Music's over.
no.
I got that's it. Like, dude, Instagram is nothing but AI thoughts.
Yeah.
And TikTok. It's just it's crazy. And the funny thing is there's a video where there's like a fat Indian guy and he's going like this. And then that's a small window, and the big window, it's like this busty, hot, like Asian chick dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all dudes are cranking it to fat Indian guys. You know?
That's true.
I've been thinking about this actually earlier today. I don't think that music's over, but it's totally different than when you would make a band and then get famous and get signed and go on tour, and then you get rich. Now it's like, good luck getting anyone to see your music. You need to have a presence.
It's been like that for 25
Like
years.
the internet?
25 years. Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as you could download songs, right? As soon as they digitized them and you could download them like on Winamp or whatever.
Winamp.
Yeah, back in the day.
That was
way
the
back
best.
in the day. You know, but
Visualizer.
like that, it was over then. You know, like people, I'll talk about AI and stuff like that and what's going to happen in the future. And invariably, someone says, you know, gets on and replies with some kind of angry tweet because AI is coming for their job. And they're like, oh, you know, you're rich and blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, like I was in the first industry to get like the real screwing because of the internet and because of digital stuff. Like music sales fell off a cliff. Our breakout record came out the same year that Spotify was introduced.
Wow.
2006.
You know, I feel bad for Tate because he'll never know the joy of it taking 8 hours to download one song.
Right.
You have to do it overnight.
Or the number
Yeah.
of viruses you get off LimeWire.
Yeah. Or my favorite was when you'd like, I'm like, I really want to download Falling Away From Me by Korn. And you would. And then it would actually be some random no-name band
Yeah.
who was trying to get out there. So you go on LimeWire and you're like, Korn, you click it. It finally downloads after like 4 hours and you play it. And it's some like whiny teenager Warped Tour kind of band. And you're like, what is this?
I think the only like thing I can get that's anything close to this experience you're describing is like before you board a plane, you forgot to download stuff on Spotify, the podcast or music or whatever. So then you just have the most random.
They have Starlink now, dude.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying you get on the plane and you have the most random like collection of songs you've ever heard in your entire
Well,
life.
you
'Cause
see-
that's all that was downloaded.
You see, Tate, we used to use a Brontosaurus to download. Yeah, that's how we used to transmit music from one
I had
to
Web
another.
TV.
Bunkasaurus, jeez.
Web
My,
TV.
my family had Web TV. Yeah, it was a box you put on your TV and you had a keyboard, and it was like this weird limited run thing. Yeah, internet on your TV. I don't know, 90, had to have been like early 90s.
Whoa, it was connected to the internet?
Yeah, we had you'd use cable to do it. Wow. And it was a weird interface. There's not much you can do. I mean, my family had CompuServe on DOS. You couldn't do anything. I didn't even use it. But I would download all these old Apogee games. Remember those games?
No, I didn't know.
You don't
Yeah,
remember?
I know Apogee.
Oh yeah, he gets them all. Commander Keen wasn't Apogee, was it?
I'm looking.
I don't remember.
OG Commander Keen, dude.
I have no idea what
Captain
you're
Comic.
saying.
Commander Keen.
Even I don't know.
He's like,
What?
Like, oh, that was all foreign language to me.
Are you guys kidding? You don't
I
know
have the
Commander Keen?
Blardarb on Goop. Yeah, and then you get the Warby game. Yeah, it's great. I'm like, is this Sims? What's going on?
The Sims, dude.
Sims. What's the
Bro, you guys
Sims?
with your
Similes?
with your small brains and uncultured.
Simoleons.
Look at this.
Okay, yeah, Commander Keen. I remember this.
Mario.
Hi there.
I don't need to hear commentary,
Who's he?
bro.
Was this Commodore
Who is this
64?
guy?
Free promo, bro.
He's
What's
got
that
a
guy's name?
barcode on his shirt.
MS DOS retros. You know, with all due respect, actually, I want to give this guy a shout out.
Okay.
This is from 10 months ago. So shout out MS DOS retrospectives because you did the work. You deserve it, brother.
Yes.
So,
Patriot salute.
right, look
I
at this,
love
dude.
watching old DOS games.
bro, OG Commander Keen was awesome.
Yeah, they really pulled it off. This was like when video games turned the corner
Yeah, dude.
from Atari.
What was that DOS game? What was it called?
This is when you're like, it's getting real, dude.
Back
That
in
really
the day,
looks like a soda.
this guy would have been like an archaeologist.
Crystal
and now
Caves?
he's
Was that
just
the game?
finding old video games.
In a way, he still is.
He's a
Kinda,
modern
yeah.
archaeologist. Yeah.
Searching
Yeah,
the old
Crystal
internet.
Caves, bro.
Crystal Caves.
You remember that game?
Yeah, that one I
If you're
know.
playing as if you're a bear.
1991, dude.
Yes. You a bear, isometric.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Look at that.
You know, other than a few
This
minor
game-
tweaks like this danger sign, for instance, it's got straight
Everything
text.
looks
It's
like
not
some
all
version of
wonky
Mario
looking
Brothers.
Like
I
it
know,
was
every
in
game
the
is
original
Mario.
Crystal Caves.
This game was
Plus,
so
there
based.
is
Look at that.
specific
Just running
versions of
around.
Amazingly
DOSBox
smooth.
Let's turn these kind.
that show the
Look
overscan
at him.
area.
Jumping around, eating
You don't
bananas.
see that while emulating the original Crystal Caves. In
Look at
fact,
that.
I think
Okay, you got
the
this. You
Crystal
got the
Caves
Mario headbutt.
that's on Steam
Look at that.
doesn't show that. If
And then you guys don't know Captain Comic?
No, I don't think so. What system is this? Is all DOS? We didn't have a sound card for our first DOS computer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't get into computer gaming till later. I mean, we all did the Oregon Trail and
Look at this.
SimCity. you
Look at
know,
this.
but-
DOS. Comic.exe 1988. See, this was back when everything was perfect. Peoria, Illinois. This was when the world was the best it ever was and has never improved since then. In order to open programs,
This is the music I'm talking about. Oh, and this is good.
you know what song this is, right? You know what it is?
I don't think so.
Oh, jeez.
The Marine Corps hymn.
Hail to the Chief.
It's
No,
Marine Corps hymn.
Kaison's March, the Marines.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it. That's
Marine
it.
Corps
That's
hymn.
See?
Planet of
Halls
Death.
Montezuma.
Of course, you get to
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
items.
it. Of course.
Brave.
Look at this
It's
game,
pretty
dude.
complicated.
This is 88, bro.
Yeah, man.
Look at that. He's got a
1988, really? Wow.
yeah.
Was this on
Look
the,
at him throwing
the
fireballs like some kind of
386
jerk.
SX?
This is crazy.
Yeah.
That was the shit. That was the
286 SX
Yeah.
processor.
We had the. Then my buddy got the 486, and it was
Oh, dude,
on.
when we got the 46 DX,
Yo, yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
And then Pentium.
When you got the
Oh, yeah,
45,
everything
RG,
changed, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything changed.
weren't up on it.
62 BR.
Did you have the
dude,
turbo
it was so
button on your computer?
Yeah. On,
Yeah.
No. Shannon did. My buddy Straz.
Yeah, well, our computers have a button or you can make them go faster.
Oh.
Which is
Well, my
awesome.
Alienware has that the high performance mode.
That's
I-
probably
yeah,
similar.
But it was like everything went faster on the machine. The
Yeah.
entire machine.
I know.
sped
I
up. It was
pity you
crazy.
guys. You didn't get to experience Prime Fortnite. It's
No,
the-
it's fast.
Are you kidding, bro?
This slot.
This is why you're the
do
future,
not
dude.
cite the old magic to me. I was there when it was written.
Tate, let me tell you about having to tell my mom to stop trying to call long distance because I had to finish my Warcraft 1 game.
sounds awful. It
bang
sounds like
it.
it sounds terrible.
This is the thing. You
Don't
grew
pick
up
up the phone.
on
Don't pick up the phone. Don't
Fortnite.
pick up the phone.
Your brain
I still remember
moves
the
so
code
trying to
quicker.
build this for
What is it?
So we rely on
IDDQD for God mode in Doom?
What was it?
IDDQD.
I don't know.
That's the code for God mode in Doom.
DQ.
IDSPOSPOPD. That's clipping, I think.
Did you?
Sounds like a disease.
I was more of a Wolfenstein guy.
Did
I
you
was playing
make?
Quake 2 a lot.
Yeah.
Like in 98, 97, something like
Just
that.
because you can fire 9-inch nails.
Did you guys make levels in Doom or in Quake? We used to make levels and then make each other play them, like
No,
our
I
friends.
had to go to the Worldwide Cafe where we had basically LAN parties.
PIS. I was so close. It's IDSPISPOPD. That was the code for Doom, no clipping. And I remember that from 30 years ago.
That game's phenomenal.
Yep.
That game set the tone for the 90s.
Yep.
basically.
There you go, man. Let's get some more of these super chats. Wes Nile Production says, Tim, y'all are in my hometown. What's a guy got to do to get y'all in my studio or vice versa? I've DM'd, I've tweeted, I've super chatted. I'm all out of ideas. Where can I send y'all my work? I'd love to contribute to your music. Hit up Ian and Carter on X.
Will do. Who's it?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Wes Nile Productions.
Dig it, Wes.
You know, the reality is sometimes we bump into people. Mm-hmm. Joe Spinella says, false, Tim. I live in Minnesota. It's illegal to open carry a rifle or a shotgun, especially in Minneapolis. I support his right, but if I did the same thing for my beliefs, I'd be in jail. All right, lock him up. Lock him up. Gotta go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right to jail. Right to jail.
All of them.
Let's see. What have we here? Yeah, but Trump says, regarding an earlier clip today, just check Google AI answer about use of military, sudden attack, defending interests abroad, etc. Limited time deployed without Congress. U.S. Marines can be utilized anytime for emergency use. Indeed. Yeah, there was an article from Newsweek, an op-ed from one of their directors who was like, Trump is going to militaristically take Greenland and he's killing people, and like all of the sources don't check out. And it's just like, first of all, the invasion of Venezuela, I'm not a big fan of, but we'll see. I am a fan of some kind of action because they stole our oil assets and we shouldn't have let them get away with it in the first place. But every single president in my life has taken military action without Congress. Trump's not special. Trump's not special. All right, what have we here? Let's see. It's Paul Newman says, you need to attend the Alberta Independence Rally on the 28th in Calgary. Bro, I'm not setting foot in Canada. Are you
Not
nuts?
going to Canada, bro. What are you talking
You
about?
gotta pull up to Alberta. Look, what are we doing here?
Look,
What's
I'm
going
sure.
on?
I'm sure Ice
they're
India is
patriots,
very
but-
nice. Okay.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I'm sure. You maple monkeys. All right. no,
So Alberta wants to be free?
I love
Yes.
Albertans are unironically patriots. Jokes aside, Albertans, for Canadian standards, are total patriots.
Don't even go there. People talking about bringing Canada into the United States. No, you cannot come into the U.S.
Phil's trying to trigger me.
Bro, questionable comment says the goal of buying Greenland is simple. Trump plans to name it Trump, like how Washington is just named Washington. That way, when people Google Trump Island, Greenland will come up.
Fine.
I'm for it, based. Could you
fine with
imagine if we're just like, oh, I'm going on vacation. Where are you going? Trump.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Oh, I've always wanted to go. It sounds great, but cold. It is. Yeah, but the casino's fantastic.
It's every town. It should be Trump Town, Trump City, Trump Village.
Trumpville.
Trumpville.
Based on the size.
Yeah, just based
Trump
on the size.
igloo.
Trumpshire.
Oh, dude, I'm heading to Trumpshire this weekend, and then I'll probably pop over to Trump City.
I saw
Trump
a funny
Tower's great
post
this time of year.
Where
Trumpton. Come, shout out AA.
There will have
You
to
going
be
to
a
Trump
Trump.
Fest this year? You going to
There'll have
Trump?
to be a Trump glacier.
Yeah.
I saw a funny
Absolutely.
post where libs were freaking out because they realized that all the characters in Lord of the Rings are aristocrats, nobles, and royalty, and that they were cheering for them.
Yep.
Like except for Samwise, he's the only one who was a peasant. Literally, like Legolas and Aragorn are princes and royalty. You've got the son of the stewards. You've got Gimli is the son of some like wealthy nobility. The Baggins are old money, inhabitant, and it's like they're rooting for the wealthy ultra elites at a governmental meeting.
To be fair, Tolkien was a Franco supporter, so.
That's right.
Was he really?
Oh, absolutely. He and C.S. Lewis fell out over it.
Wow.
Actually
That's
destroyed
funny.
their friendship.
How sad. All right, David Brigham says, Ian, I love you, buddy, but you've been rolling ones tonight.
Have I? Sometimes I'm controlled opposition, and I'm the one controlling myself. But thank you for your opinion, and I would love to debate you on it. I think I can up the ante, and also I'm rolling with advantage. So though you may see 1-1, like what was the other roll? Because I'm the one on the show, so I get advantage.
So true.
I'm just kidding.
So true.
I might have been wrong about some things.
No, that's
I'm just. It's not that I'm truly tepid, but I will anchor the slow down there energy just for the sake of when I look back on my life, I can at least say that I stood up for my principles.
They got to go to jail.
But sometimes you need drastic military force, and I understand that. I like civilian life right now.
They got to go to jail.
All right, Giovanni Garcia says, Tim, as much as I love you, what is informing you on your worldview? In your world, might and strength make it right. It's whatever you want. Stop stealing our morals. Incorrect and ignorant. I actually have never said might makes right because it doesn't. Might does not make morality, but it does make. Might makes, period. Those that are not mighty get crushed and disappear, and those the strong survive. That's it. Cry about it all you want, but that's truth, not opinion. In the world, the big fish eats the little fish. That's not going to change because you hope it does. However, morality, what we have, especially in the United States, is to seek to balance this to create a more perfect union, a better world for everybody, where it's not just about the strongest, but a variety of things you can contribute to your country. Unfortunately for us, the statement used to be, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And now liberals are just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Yep. So, what forms my worldview is my upbringing, Really?
regarding strength, because I have thought like power will earn you at government. You can take one, but to maintain it, you need diplomacy. So just brute force won't like maintain your country. You need both.
Historically, brute force has worked pretty well.
But they always these dictatorships tend to fall out. They get blown up by
Because
people
you
like
need-
America.
You
countries
need
do that,
psychic force and physical force. You need to pressure release dispossessed groups, and you need to crush violent groups.
Gaetano Mosca called this a ruling formula, meaning that you need both the physical force, but you also need the psychological and basically metaphysical justification. You need to both have the overwhelming force, but you also need to have the underlying logic by which people understand and legitimate your rule.
Indeed, my friends, we're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show over at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. We're going to be up at rumble.com/Timcast IRL, like I said. Auron, do you want to shout anything out?
Just the show, always over on Blaze TV. Again, Auron MacIntyre Show. It's a podcast. It's a YouTube show. It's on Blaze TV. It's on Rumble. You can find me there.
It's great.
Also, you mentioned one of your books you wrote.
Yes, I also have the book The Total State, which is about to come out in its second printing. So if you want to catch the hardcover before it goes into paperback, make sure to go ahead and pick it up now.
Thanks, man. I'm at Ian Crossland. Find me at Ian Crossland. And check out Graphene.movie. I mentioned it at the top of the show. It's a documentary I just finished working on and produced it. I was starred in it. And it's awesome. We went to Rice University. We uncovered all sorts of cool nanotechnology that's coming out. Probably the next 5 years, it'll mainstream. So go to Graphene.movie, sign up for the mailing list, and follow me at Ian Crossland. YouTube, I think Instagram and X are the best places to reach me. And I'll see you later.
Follow me on X and Instagram at Real Tate Brown. And make sure you do that. People are tweeting at me. I didn't even realize I wasn't following you. So double check. Make sure you are, so you don't miss any of my coal that I post quite regularly.
His gentle musings.
Yeah, it's so true. Also, I believe if we have it set up properly, we will be rating today's interview with the great Scott Greer. We broke down the European reaction to Greenland. It's a really interesting discussion, so go check that out. We'll probably be sending you over that way right after the show.
Right on.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. The band is All That Remains. We're going on tour this spring. We're starting April 29th in Albany, and we'll be going through the end of May. We're going out with Born of Osiris and Dead Eyes, so go to allthatremainsonline.com to get your tickets. VIPs are sold out now, I think, so just grab regular tickets to come to the show. You can check out All That Remains on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget The Left Lane is for Crime.
We will see you all at rumble.com/Timcast IRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out.